Philadelphia, please make it loud for Josh Johnson!
When I was growing up, I had a friend who was like a latchkey kid, and he would get off the bus, and he had 2 hours to himself before his parents came home. So he'd get off the bus, he'd open the door in the house, he had full reign of the house. And we're still little, but he's like old enough to, go ahead and make himself a grilled cheese if he wants something, anything, just till his parents get home. And one day he comes home and his parents had a get together the night before, and he sees laid out just a little bit left of some wine. And he's like, oh wow, I know that this is grown-up juice, but I want to try it because I'm not supposed to have it, because I know I'm not supposed to have it, right? And so picks it up and he's weighing the options in his head. He's like, I could try it, but what if I get caught? I'd be in so much trouble. Oh, but I really want it. Maybe nobody will know. And he's going over and over it in his head to the point where he decides, I'm gonna just have a little sip. And he's bringing it to his lips, and then he ends up slipping it out of his hand, drops it, stains the carpet, right? So now he's freaking out because it's like, oh no, they'll know there wasn't a stain there when they left. This is all on me. And he did what a lot of kids would do in that scenario. He made it worse. He was like, the only thing, and I can understand he's a kid, but this is a mistake that I don't think I would have made. The best thing for him to do in that moment, he thought, was to make a bigger mess. And then that way, the stain won't be so bad. So he grabbed a rock and he threw it through the window. Which was a huge mistake because he went outside to get the rock and then threw it from inside outside. He realized what he had done as soon as he did it, so then he had to go back outside, grab the rock, carefully pick up all the glass, bring it back inside, lay out the glass next to the rock, next to the stain. And then his parents get home, and when they come home, immediately they're like, oh my gosh, what happened? What happened? And he's had an hour 20 to think up a story, So he's over here like, it was crazy. They're like, what happened? You got the rock going through the windows, all this glass on the floor and this stain. He's like, well, the stain's probably not as big of a deal as the broken window when you really think about it, right? And they're like, what happened? And he says, well, the rock came through the window and it must have hit the glass that had the wine in it, the wine that really shouldn't have been left out. That's an adult beverage. I'm a minor. And then it must have hit the perfect angle to hit that glass and this glass and then knock over and then make a stain on our beautiful 3-bedroom carpet. And his parents were like, but did you see it happen? Like, how did this happen? Did somebody throw this? And he's like, uh-oh, because he didn't think that far. And so he was like, yeah, the man threw it. And they were like, what man? And now he's in deep because he's like, yeah, what man? What am I doing? And so he's like, yeah, there was a man that, threw the rock through the window and everything. And you saw him? Yeah, I saw him. He threw it and he ran and everything. And he thought maybe that would be the end of it. But from his parents' perspective, there was someone who threw a rock into the window, maybe to get inside while their son was home. So they had more and more questions, and he didn't know what to do. He was freaking out, Next thing he knows, the police have been called, and the police come over, and they're like, what did the man look like? And they over here taking notes and stuff, and he's like, he doesn't know what to say next because he didn't think this far. And that's how I feel like Trump must feel about Epstein, because it goes so deep. It's like he didn't think this far in the lies. Like he just didn't account for it. He thought he could make it quiet, It's not going to be pitched as a direct and absolutely direct order from Trump, what the DOJ did, but the DOJ came out after interviews saying, oh, there's so much information, we're just trying to figure out how to put it out there in a way that's clear. Oh, there's so many files, there's a list of names, there's logs, there's a client list. After saying all this stuff in the media, the DOJ comes out and says, actually, the investigation is closed. We're not going to be prosecuting anybody else. And I think we got to the bottom of it. Thank you for your attention to this matter. That's not going to stand at all. That's not going to stand with anybody. Because you got to remember who Trump garnered with this belief that he released the Epstein files. He's got MAGA, sure, but he also has Q. Nobody talks about Q anymore, but they're still around. And they believe deeply that Donald Trump is going to be the one to unleash all of the truth. All the evidence will come out. When Trump is president, he'll turn over everything on the powerful cabal that has been victimizing people across the world. And then he's like, hey, yeah, there's no... And I think he thought that he could really bury it, that he could truly bury it. But he's wrong. He's wrong because there are a lot of things that he didn't account for. There are people that Trump controls. There are people who he orders around, and there are people who blindly follow him, sure. But he didn't count on things like Jeffrey Epstein talking before he died to a biographer for like 100 hours. Like just a ridiculous amount of time. I have friends I don't think I've spoken to for 100 hours. 100 hours, you probably say a lot of nothing, and you probably say some pretty interesting stuff. Those 100 hours of conversation is how we know that Trump and Epstein were tight for years. Well, even Epstein said he knows some of the inner workings of the White House because him and Trump would just chop it up. You know what I mean? That's heavy. That's a lot to try to sidestep. And Trump's been making mistakes this whole time. Even when Epstein died, right? Epstein dies. He was in jail and he passed. Who can say how? And, Ghislaine Maxwell gets, charged, has a whole trial, gets convicted, sentenced to 20 years in prison. And apparently what we're hearing now is that at the time, Trump floated pardoning her. And the people that heard that almost couldn't believe it. Why would he pardon her? That's crazy. And it's like, actually, it's not that crazy when you see the picture of all them hanging out, like, in the 90s, and they met in the 80s, and they used to fly around together. Like, that's his buddy. And he even said himself, these are his words out of his mouth, when asked about Ghislaine Maxwell during the trial, he said, I wish her well. Somebody that's on trial for trafficking. Somebody with ties to you. I wish her well. And then people were like, why would you wish her well? And then they brought it up again, and Trump was like, I wish lots of people well. And we were like, no, you don't. I've been watching you the whole time. I don't think you wish anybody well that I've seen. All you come up with is nicknames. Man floated pardoning her. That's crazy. And then the DOJ comes out, hey, yeah, this is done. Nothing else to see here. And people were having a hard time wrapping their heads around that. People who usually stump for Trump hard. No matter what he says, they manage to twist it in a way that maybe could make sense to you, and they'll say that that's what he means. One of the reasons that Trump can do everything that he does and it comes off a different way to everybody is because so many people think that they're the Trump whisperer. Trump will say something out of nowhere, And then there'll be people like, well, what he actually meant was something more reasonable that I'm going to say right now. And I'll be like, that's interesting, because he didn't say any of those words in that order when he was speaking. And I think he had a teleprompter, so I don't see how that's possible. And so everybody thinks that they can be the Trump whisperer, and it's just not working this time. You see people trying to come up with why Trump, why the FBI, why the Attorney General would all of a sudden, what feels like out of nowhere, try to shut this whole thing down, right? Alex Jones, of all people, saw what the DOJ did, and he made a video crying. I think it's very important. When a man shows emotion, not to just ridicule him for it because it's easy. But Alex Jones cries weird. Alex Jones cry weirder than anybody I've ever seen in my life. I don't wish anything good for Alex Jones, but to see him cry felt like something happened to me too. Like Alex Jones is up here like, folks. Like his eyelids were doing sit-ups, crying. I'm sick to my stomach, and I just can't believe this thing is happening. Wipe your face, dog. Like, and even Alex Jones trying to come up with something. He's like maybe the deep state got to him, and the deep state is like in his body, and that's why he's doing this stuff right now. And then he'll be back to normal after he has one of my protein shakes. You can go to my website and buy frog protein for $19.99. No, it was crazy. Because Alex Jones, you gotta remember, this dude is a proper conspiracy theorist. Old school. There's something deeper behind everything at all times. And I'm not talking about like chemtrails. I'm not talking about like government operations. There's something deeper behind everything that happens all the time. Hillary Clinton went on The Tonight Show. Pretty sure this was on The Tonight Show, and she was trying to open a jar of pickles, right? I don't remember what the bit was, but that's what was happening. And Alex Jones pulled it up, and right after she opened the jar, he was like, you see? Do you see what happened right there? Hillary Clinton didn't open that jar. Now, in the video, she has opened the jar. Hillary Clinton didn't open that jar. That jar was pre-opened. All right? You can tell because there was no pop. There's supposed to be a pop. There was no. I brought the same jar. I'm going to open for him right now. And this man spends a while trying to open the jar. He spends an uncomfortable amount of time trying to open the jar. I think at one point he even had a rag too. You know, like those kitchen tricks you use? He over here, you know, sometimes you like tap the top of it, you like. And he's like, I can't even open it right now, folks. That's how you know this thing right here, she didn't open that jar. So imagine Alex Jones on Epstein. No. I just think about the way that MAGA has been reacting, because it is a full-on revolt. Truly, it's a thing that they cannot fathom is happening. Whether it's Q, whether it's MAGA, or whether it's just people who have been following the Epstein case from the beginning. Because you got to remember what Epstein stands for. He is the ultimate boogeyman. He is the ultimate beacon for people that believe that all the elites are in on something together. And it's easy to make him that because he had an island Billionaires were flying around. People went to him for tax advice and for law advice. He was this financier, even though I don't think he had a law degree and he wasn't a CPA. So it's like, what are you doing with people's taxes that you helping? And so this dude, he represents a lot. He stands for a lot in conspiracy theory world and in just the regular world. This is someone who has ties to billionaires, to royalty, who come to him for horrific acts. And now you're telling us, there's nothing else to see here. There's nothing else to see between, me and him especially. There's nothing. Don't look. Stop. 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 And so then Trump, for his part, is watching this whole thing go down, and he's watching people argue about it in front of him, people who are, in his administration and on his side, argue about the best way to handle it, going back and forth. Pam Bondi, Dan Bongino, Cash Patel, all names that sound like they're about to be called down on The Price is Right. Like, all three of them are constantly going at it because then, Bongino is upset with Pam because he thinks that Pam overpromised and underdelivered and everything. Why would you even say that this stuff was coming unless you had a plan? You were just talking in front of the camera. And then Pam is going back at him, and Trump's watching this whole thing. And then in a press conference, they even asked him, they actually asked Pam Bondi a question about the tapes and the DOJ's memo and everything. And Pam Bondi was ready to answer. She was about to speak, and Trump interrupted her. He was like, hey, look, are we still talking about this guy? Why? Like years, like why? Like everybody's talking about this dude. Like, what's the point? You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I'm sick of this for you, Pam. You don't even feel like answering, do you? And Pam didn't catch. She wasn't quick enough. She was like, no, I don't mind answering. And I know Trump had to be sick when that happened. It's like, no, go ahead and answer then. And, Pam Bondi talked about how they had released a lot of stuff, because there's a difference between releasing evidence around a case or releasing vital information or declassifying things and then releasing stuff, right? So they released a bunch of stuff to look like they were releasing something. Like they released the videotape of the night that Epstein got up out of here. And the problem with the tape is that it's always been talked about as if there was a tape of his cell that would prove definitively that nothing untoward happened, right? But the tape isn't of Jeffrey Epstein's cell with him sitting there and everything. It's of a hallway. And you're giving a tape to conspiracy theorists. They're gonna do some extra looking. There's 10 hours of tape. But there is 61 seconds missing. I don't know how long it takes to kill somebody. But if there's 61 seconds missing, I'm assuming that it takes 50 seconds and gives you 11 seconds to get down the hall. And I'm not even saying that's what happened, by the way. I'm just saying 61 seconds, that's weird. And they asked Pam Bondi about it, and Pam Bondi is like, look, it's a very old system from the 90s where the tape resets at midnight, so it takes a second to reset, and that's why 61 seconds are missing. And I had a lot of questions. I had a ton of questions. One, my first question, didn't even concern Epstein. My first question was, why are you telling everybody that? Because that is very valuable information if you're a prisoner in that. Because you know what they play in prison, the news. You probably sit there in Gen Pop wait, it what? Every day? I gotta go take care of something. So she says, look, this is the way that system works. So we're actually gonna be supplying more video footage to show that there's a minute missing every night. And I was like, why would you say that? The people in prison can hear you. But also, that's a pretty bad system. It was supposed to be watching somebody and it takes a minute to blink. That's pretty wild. That it's just gonna be missing every day, and you're telling us that like it's not an issue at all. Felt crazy to me. And then they release the video, and then people go digging, they go looking. And one of the things they find is that the video has been doctored. Somebody at some point read the video through Adobe Premiere and did something. And I'm not saying, look. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with Adobe Premiere, all right? All I'm saying is I would have thought the government, with all their resources, you know what I mean? Like the government would have like a special program. That just feel pretty cheap to make an Adobe Cloud account that you run this Epstein tape through. Like nobody's gonna know, so then people are wondering about the missing minute. They're wondering about how this video's been tampered with. And then even people who watch the full 10 hours of the video, because you gotta remember, some of these people are dedicated. They're like, there's actually a guard that leaves one way and never comes back, which proves that there's two ways to enter that hallway. And I was like, oh man, he's so screwed. Trump, he's very good at creating a distraction, and he tries. He did his best. He said that he was gonna revoke Rosie O'Donnell's citizenship. On any other day in American history, that would be a headline. Any other day, that'd be wild. And look, Rosie O'Donnell and Donald Trump have what I think is now like a 20-year feud going on, which is absolutely insane. The President of the United States has the ultimate and deepest beef. His arch nemesis is the actress from Harriet the Spy. That is mind-boggling. The leader of the free world is ready to have it out at any given moment with the voice actress from the main gorilla in the Disney movie Tarzan. The man with his fingers on the button for the nukes has a deep hatred in his heart, decades long, for Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Award winner Rosie O'Donnell. This is an unacceptable timeline. That is crazy. I don't even know what Rosie O'Donnell did that day. Like, I don't know what even brought it up. But he says, I'm thinking about revoking Rosie O'Donnell's citizenship. If Ireland wants to keep her, they could have her. And any other day, this would be the story. He knows that. Who knows? Look, I'm of two minds about this thing because it is clearly a distraction, so I don't want to spend too much time on it. But I'm of two minds about this thing because, one, obviously, there's a world where he's just like saying stuff to say stuff to like swiftly like move the news cycle in another direction, and he may not do anything. But the fact, as a sitting president, that he would even muster up the corner of his thumbs to put that into a phone to go out to the world is so deeply insane. Because this thing that he's doing now is not just a step too far. It's the entire field too far. Rosie O'Donnell is an American citizen, a citizen. And so if he can do that, then truly, 100% without a doubt now, nobody is safe. What started this whole immigration, fear-mongering, you gotta remember, because you have to understand, as a platform, people have been running on it as long as there have been, green cards and immigration programs. Oh, is it a little too much? Oh, we don't like what it's doing to the landscape of our neighborhood and everything. And people have won votes on it. That's nothing new. But what's turned is the way that people are openly nasty and disgusting about it. There's always been racism in it. It's mainly what it is, Because if you really cared about people coming over the right way, the legal way, then you would make the right way and the legal way clear, and you wouldn't kidnap people at their green card interviews, and you wouldn't have mass people picking people up after baseball practice, okay? If that's what you cared about. And you also, you've structured this thing to make these people seem like monsters. That's been the plan this entire time, because if somebody is a monster, it is part of the human condition and a flaw that we have. As long as we see somebody as a monster, whether they are or not, we don't really care what happens to them. It's why they can make conditions in prison so bad, because the assumption is, well, everybody that's there deserves to be there, so screw them, right? If they don't have clean water, or if they can't shower, or if their food's contaminated, good. Because they did something bad to earn that place, right? And it helps you strip the basic humanity of looking at another person, whether they've made a mistake or not, or looking at another person, whether from a different country or not. And if you get really good at stripping that humanity away, you can do whatever you want, and then you start to be able to do whatever you want to anybody that you want. And that's what's been creeping up this entire time. What started as guys, they're eating the dogs. Remember, they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. Nobody's pets are safe. It was getting so dumb. It was past these are criminals and they're killing us and they're coming over here to do terrible things. And then it started to morph a little bit more. Okay, look, I know that they're going through the proper channels and everything, but they have a misdemeanor in another country. Do we really want somebody like that to become a citizen? Maybe we should deport them now. No, I understand that they have their green card, but they also, I don't know, they have this weird past out or they wrote an op-ed I didn't like, or they said a thing that I didn't like. So do we really want someone like that in our country? I know that they are a fully naturalized citizen, but the way that they became a citizen is a little bit under suspect, because I said so just now. So maybe we'll deport them. And now we're all the way to the point that American citizens that I do not like can be gone. And so you see, when you let somebody's humanity get stripped away over and over and over again, and it's in the back of your head, and you even go with the lie. They probably did something, or maybe they shouldn't have done that thing, or maybe they have a good reason. When you do that enough and it finally comes for you, don't be surprised. Because the thing with the Rosie O'Donnell, it's there's a part of it that I think is nothing. I'm not saying that thing is absolutely gonna happen. I'm just also saying that the fact that he even fixed his fingers to put it out is a problem. And normally, on any other day, it would have been such a problem that it's what everyone on the news would have been talking about. But this was a different day. This was a day where Dan Bongino is so upset he doesn't even report into work. He's tired of arguing with Pam Bondi. He might resign. Other people are talking about resigning. This Epstein thing isn't going away. And so then Donald Trump did what he does best, what he does in a crisis, and what he does when it counts. He made it worse. Like a kid throwing a rock through his own window. He makes it so much worse. And now Trump is dealing with that fallout. There are people calling for Pam Bondi to resign. There are people that are asking Trump extra questions. And then Trump crashes out spectacularly while y'all were probably parking. And so I'm gonna do this real quick. I don't like to use my phone or bring my phone out often, but I have to read you what Trump posted. And admittedly, look, I'm gonna read every word that he posted, all right? But I will be doing it the way that I read it in my head. This is insane. What's going on, my boys? Boys in quotations. Oh no, what's going on with my boys? Boys in quotations. And in some cases, gals? Also in quotations. Are you asking us a question about what's going on with them, or are you confused about the gals specifically? They're all going after Attorney General Pam Bondi, who is doing a fantastic job, all caps. We're on one team, MAGA, and I don't like what's happening. We have a perfect, all caps, administration. The talk of the world, all caps, and selfish people, in quotes, are trying to hurt it, all over a guy who never dies. What? I'm not saying that Trump killed Epstein. I'm not saying that at all. I'm like specifically not saying that. I need you to understand that I am explicitly not saying that Trump killed Epstein. I'm just saying that if I was like driving in my car and I hit somebody and I somehow got away with it, but I saw them every time I closed my eyes, I'd be like, this guy never dies. All over a guy who never dies, Jeffrey Epstein. For years, it's Epstein over and over again. This is a man who hasn't slept. For years, it's Epstein over and over again. Why are we giving publicity to files written by Obama? You know what's so good about files written by Obama is that Trump was sitting there knowing he know Epstein. Trump knows Epstein so well. They were friends. Trump lived so close to Epstein in Florida that Epstein had to knock on his door and let him know he was on the sex offender registry. Like, that's how close they lived together. He knocked on the door, was like, hi, the court has ordered me to notify you that I'm in the area. I have been convicted of a few crimes, and I left my suit jacket over here last night, so. That's crazy. By Obama, and it's a list. It's why are we giving publicity to files? You know what it also is? This man was sitting here knowing that he knows Epstein. He's sitting here knowing that this looks very bad. And he did the DOJ thing, even though it's not directly tied to him, even though the president isn't allowed to interfere. He clearly did the DOJ thing where he told them to shut it down. And now people are rebelling against him. And he's sitting there like, how can I make it DEI? Obama. Thanks, Obama. Why are we giving publicity to files written by Obama, Crooked Hillary, Comey, Brennan, and the losers and criminals of the Biden administration? So I guess they were all in a room in this scenario, and they wrote the files together in tandem. Like, Obama just knew that everyone in the Biden administration would be in the Biden administration one day, so he gathered them all together. But this is also before Epstein ever died or anything, so Obama time traveled to like right after to know it would hurt Trump, so then he came back in regular time and he sat down Hillary Clinton, Comey, Brennan, and the loser, he had to get all the losers and criminals of the Biden administration in one room so they could write. Also, wrote the files? Isn't it a bunch of documents? And the losers and criminals of the Biden administration, I do like that he said there are criminals in the Biden administration, but there are some people who aren't criminals. They're just losers. but I want to make sure I address them too. You're not safe. You're not safe just because you're not a criminal if you're a loser as well, all right? In fact, you're a loser because you're not a criminal, all right? I have 34 felony convictions, and I'm the president, okay? You out here not even a criminal. You can't even criminal good. Loser. And the losers and criminals of the Biden administration who conned the world with Russia, Russia hoax, 51 intelligence agents, intelligence is in quotes, the laptop from hell. I don't know what that means. I don't know. I really don't know what that is. I don't know if that's like Hunter Biden's laptop or a laptop with Hillary's emails on it, or if he just had a bad experience with an HP laptop. But like, that is also in all caps. The laptop from hell and more, ? They created the Epstein files just like they created the fake, all caps, Hillary Clinton, Christopher Steele dossier that they used on me. And now my so-called friends, this man hurt because my so-called friends, as a world leader, my so-called friends is the most Regina George Mean Girls line I've ever heard in my entire life. My so-called friends is wild. Foreign diplomats, world leaders had a dinner that Trump was at, and they made fun. This is his first term. They made fun of him at the dinner. He could probably hear him in the background. They were laughing. It was like Boris Johnson and Justin Trudeau and other people, and they were over here doing him. They were over here like just making fun of him hard, cracking up, talking about how he doesn't know how to spell, everything. They were getting him good. They were roasting him. And then this man comes back to the U.S. and I'm pretty sure it was Fox News that played the tape that somebody got of them making fun of him, not with a bunch of audio, and his head was down a little bit. You could tell his feelings were hurt, for real. And he was looking down and everything. And he just said, yeah, I didn't know that, like, they were, like fake like that or anything. Even in that moment, he didn't say my so-called friends. My so-called friends is insane. And now my so-called friends are playing right into their hands. Why didn't these radical left lunatics release the Epstein files? If there was anything in there that could have hurt the MAGA movement, why didn't they use it? And this is good. This is clever. He's doing what he does. This is the Republican talking point that's going to go around. Look for it over and over and over again. Well, why didn't Biden release the Epstein files? If there was anything in there that could hurt Trump, that could derail MAGA, why didn't he release it? All right, that's the most I know you are, but what am I logic I've ever heard in my life? Because you're the president now, so you could release them. I know that Biden didn't release them, but you could release them. You could. You could release them if you wanted. You could, like I dare you. I was just saying, like, I dare you. I bet you won't. I bet you're too scared. I bet you won't. But you could. I know Biden did, but you're the president now, and I thought you were a better president, so you could do anything that Biden didn't do. You said that. You were like, there's a bunch of things Biden can't do that I can do, that only I can do, and one of those things is release the Epstein files. Like, I bet you won't do it, though, because you're scared. No, it's just funny, man. This man, he's going through it. Why didn't they use it? They haven't even given up on the John F. Kennedy or the MLK Jr. files, which is a terrible idea to bring up different conspiracy-laden things while you talk about there not being a conspiracy. That's crazy. That's a terrible move. This man is derailing. No matter how much success we have had securing the border, deporting criminals, fixing the economy, energy dominance, a safer world where Iran will not have nuclear weapons, it's never enough for some people. This man is spiraling. It's never enough for some people is not what a president says. It's never enough for some people is not how you speak as a president. That's how you speak as a dad who just finished a 16-hour shift and somebody tells you to take out the trash. It's never enough for you people. Every day, I've been awake for 24 hours. It's my birthday. Yeah, thanks for the time. It's never enough for some people. We are about to achieve more in 6 months than any other administration has achieved in over 100 years. And that's true. That's true. We're all going to die. And we have so much more to do. We are saving our country and making America great again, all caps, which will continue to be our complete priority, all caps. The left is imploding. Kash Patel and the FBI must be focused on investigating voter fraud, political corruption, Act Blue, the rigged and stolen election of 2020, and arresting thugs and criminals instead of spending month after month looking at nothing but the same old radical left-inspired documents on Jeffrey Epstein. Let Pam Bondi do her job, all caps. She's great, all caps. The 2020 election was rigged and stolen, and they tried to do the same thing in 2024. That's what she's looking into as AG, and much more. 1 year ago, our country was dead, all caps. Now it's the hottest, all caps, country anywhere in the world. Let's keep it that way and not waste time and energy on Jeffrey Epstein, somebody that nobody cares about. Thank you for your attention to this matter. There's a thing I read about a long time ago. There was this leader named Father Yod, and Father Yod was the head of the Source family. The Source family was this collection of people. Some people called them a cult and everything, but they mostly kept to themselves. Like, they ran like a vegan restaurant, I think, and they just minded their own business. But one of the most interesting things about Father Yod was Father Yod told them early on, before it was ever even really a cult, before there were even a lot of members, I'm God, and don't go to a hospital. That was his thing. And that happens in a lot of cults, by the way. Don't go to the hospital because hospitals are full of experts who can provide answers that I can't. So if I can cut you off from other experts, if I can cut you off from people reasoning in a way that is just direct with logic, I've already started to bring you into the fold in a way that you'll never leave. And so Father Yod would tell them, don't go to a hospital, right? And so they didn't. Members of the Source family would not go to a hospital. And they did what I would say was generally well for a cult as far as length. A lot of cults fall apart in those first few years. You know what I mean? First year, everything sort of starts out good. Everybody's just having a good time, making friends, living in a commune and everything. And then year two, somebody try to get you drink something or do something else. Just people start coming for your mouth, you know what I mean? And all sorts of ways that get uncomfortable, and that's usually when the cult falls apart, because there are people that are like, ooh, I'm not gonna do that, I'm not gonna drink that, ooh, that's weird, no, I'm gonna go, right? And then that's when leaders sort of crumble and start having power grabs, and they get paranoid and everything. This didn't really happen, at least from what I read, to the Source family, Father Yod, and they stayed together long enough that there were members of the community that started coupling and even having children. And it got to the point where they were about to have the first baby born into the Source family, but they can't go to a hospital. They can't go to a hospital, and something feels wrong. And no one can really describe what it is, but basically this member starts going into labor in real time. So everybody is looking over to Father Yod. You know, you said you were God. You told us not to go to the hospital. I think you're gonna have to deliver this baby. And so this man does it. He delivered the baby, but when the baby came out, it wasn't making any noise. And it wasn't moving at all. And people started crying. Everyone was devastated. There was so much joy around having a new person in the family. And Father Yod, he did something. I don't know what he did, but the members described it as him just clearing the airway gently a little bit, and out of nowhere, after all that silence, after no movement, the baby cried. and it started moving. And if he thought he had followers then, if he thought that they were believers then, we don't need a hospital. And it got to the point where one day Father Yod was like, you know what? I'm done with this whole like earthly thing. I'm tired of healing y'all and everything. Everybody coming up to me all the time. I got a cold. Because that's what he would do. People would like have a cold and then he'd be like, blah, 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 and then they would still have a cold and they just get over it in 2 weeks because it was a cold, right? But then when they finally got over the cold, he'd walk by and be like, did it? And it's like, all right, well. And so there's one day Father Yod said, you know what I'm gonna take a vacation. Get away from y'all for a little bit. I'll come back, but I'm gonna take a vacation. I'm gonna take it in heaven. And so he got on a 1,300-foot cliff with a glider. Because I guess he thought he was gonna glide up enough to just like get to heaven's front door or something. Like this man is truly like lost to the sauce, right? He'd been leading the cult too long. He believed him now. I wish I had half the confidence. Because that's so crazy to think you're just gonna fly up to heaven and stay up there, but you also need a glider. Do you know what I mean? Like, at least people on ecstasy think they gonna just fly immediately, you know? This dude gets on the glider, takes off, and never did this before in his life. Wasn't trained or anything. And so he jumps off the cliff in the glider, and he goes perfectly down. He goes straight down. This man, bow, right? And so the followers like, oh, he went the wrong way. And then they come down the cliff and everything, and they come to get him. He laid out. I can't even do it. He laid out. He laid out like, but not like busted up. He's not dead. He's laid out like this. And didn't have any, to what I read at least, he didn't have any significant, any substantial like bruising or markups on his body. Another miracle, you would think. Turns out everything stayed intact, but his guts were all upside down. Like this man stayed perfectly in his body, but his lungs were in his feet. Like and so they run up on him, and he over here laid out like, I can't even do it right. Like he laid out like, when they find him, glider crash, he laid out like this. And they run up there like, Father, Father. And he's like, get me to a hospital. Get me to a hospital. Now. And the followers are like, what? And he's like, yeah, the one on 32 Roscoe, please. Hurry up and get me to a hospital. And there's different accounts of this. I'm sure that there's followers that say he never asked for a hospital. I'm sure there's followers that say he asked for a hospital immediately. But this dude is like, get me to a hospital. And then the followers are like, what? Why though? Like, you said never go to a hospital. You said that that's not real science in there. You said that you get sicker if you go to a hospital. We can't take you to a hospital. And he said, get me to a hospital. I'm serious. Oh, I feel something upside down. You know what it probably sounded like? I mean, I'm not there. We don't have the footage or anything. But I imagine if you fall 1,300 feet down, you probably sound like that grape lady. Remember that grape lady that was crushing the grapes, and then she fell, and then she went, arr, 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 arr. Off camera, we didn't see her. Because I'm sure when he said, get me to a hospital, they really didn't understand what he was saying at first, because he was like, me to a hospital. Get me to a, I think my spine behind my balls. Get me to a hospital. But then my man looked intact. So they're like, no, he doesn't need a hospital, he just needs rest. And then he died 9 hours later. And so when I see the way that like MAGA is turning on Trump, it just feels so much like, why would you? Wait. Why would he lie? He really doesn't understand. Trump truly doesn't understand why this thing won't go away. And it's because he doesn't understand people, you know? Whether it's, you know, the MAGA base, whether it's Q, whether it's anybody online, anybody interested or concerned about anything to do with Epstein, all those people are people. So if you lead people on and you lie to people, they have a reaction. You can't just get something and give nothing in return. And people won't let it go, and they won't give up on it, because this man is real. He really existed. And he really destroyed a lot of lives. And for all of our faults as humans, we care about that. And so no, we're not just gonna let it go. It's not like some passing fad of a thing. I think it is to him, because he just uses what he needs while he needs it to get what he wants. And once he has it, he throws it or the person who gave it to him away. And it's something that some people are finding out right now, that he'll betray you on a dime. Nothing matters to him. Because if this thing doesn't matter to him, then nothing matters to him at all. There's no way around it. People care because vulnerable people were victimized for a very long time. And whatever part you had to do with that, it can't be covered up, because there's nothing that screams, I'm in the Epstein files, like, stop looking for the Epstein files. One thing that I thought was incredible, one thing that put a smile on my face, was when Rosie O'Donnell responded to Donald Trump talking about revoking her citizenship. And I know I don't like to pull out my phone, but I want to read you what she said. You can actually look. You can actually. This is on her Instagram, so you can actually look this up for yourself. I'm not kidding. This is crazy. So first thing she does is post a picture of Trump and Epstein together, which is genuinely hilarious. And is Rosie O'Donnell posted in the caption, "Hey Donald, you rattled again? 18 years later, I still live rent-free in that collapsing brain of yours." I'm gonna be honest with you right now. I watch the news all the time. I watch people try to defend Trump. I watch people attack Trump, and I'm chronically online. So I watch people insult Trump all day long, and I have never come across collapsing brains. Collapsing brain would actually explain everything. It would explain the made-up words. It would explain the spelling. You call me a threat to humanity, but I'm everything you fear: a loud woman, a queer woman, a mother who tells the truth, an American who got out of the country before you set it ablaze. You built walls, I built a life for my autistic kid in a country where decency still exists. You crave loyalty, I teach my children to question power. You sell fear on golf courses, I make art about surviving trauma. You lie, you steal, you degrade. I nurture, I create, I persist. You are everything that is wrong with America, and I am everything you hate about what's still right with it. You want to revoke my citizenship, go ahead and try. King Joffrey with a tangerine spray tan. Jeez. I'm not yours to silence, I never was, and then it's the Irish flag signed Rosie. And if I'm being honest, I just never expected, I never expected the President of the United States to be so effectively eviscerated by one of the supporting actresses from A League of Their Own. It just feels wild that this is life. Philly, y'all been phenomenal. Thank you so much. I appreciate y'all. I hope you had a fantastic time. I had so much fun with you. Thank you for an incredible weekend at the Fillmore. Thank you for 8 sold-out shows. I appreciate you so much.
Hey friends, I have some great news for you. So this week, I'm going to be hosting The Daily Show for the very first time. I'm hosting tonight, tomorrow, and Thursday. And this show has meant a lot to me for a long time. I started there as a writer in 2017, and I've loved it ever since. I've loved the people, I've loved the process, and for the first time, I get to sit behind the desk. And if you've ever wondered what the show would look like through my lens, well, this is your chance to watch it. And I just want to say thank you, because this is in no small part because of you, because of this community, because of everything that we're doing on this channel is a lot of what led to this opportunity. And so I appreciate you very, very much. And if you are inclined, if you're in the area, go ahead and watch Comedy Central live or on the Paramount Plus app. There will also be YouTube videos of clips of it dropping as well. But thank you so much. I hope you enjoy seeing me host. I have some amazing guests, and I'm excited to bring the show to you in the best way that I can. And I hope you enjoy the video this week. Bye.
Please make it loud for Josh Johnson!
Okay. All right. Look. Okay. So we are in week 2 of there kind of being files but no files, but there's kind of we don't know, but he doesn't know, but he knows, but he doesn't remember, but he wasn't there, but even if he was there, it's not what you think, but it's a lot going on, right? And so with everything that fell out with Trump last week, now you have people being release the Epstein files, release the Epstein files, release the Epstein files, right? And in prison is Ghislaine Maxwell. Now, in case you're not familiar with Ghislaine Maxwell, one of the central people to this case, she trafficked for Jeffrey Epstein, right? And she is still alive somehow, and in prison, okay? Yeah, so she's still alive in prison, right? And she actually got 20 years for her part in this trafficking. And so now, with Trump calling Epstein a hoax, there's been a lot of, how do I put this? There's been a lot of unintelligible takes on if he's saying the entire thing is a hoax or just his involvement is a hoax, or no one can really tell. There's not a lot of centered messaging on what is supposed to be the narrative here. And because of that, now you got Ghislaine and her lawyers from prison being like, oh, well, if it's a hoax. No, I'm just saying if nobody got trafficked to anybody, then I'd like to appeal, right? And then there's people that are like, the client list. We need the client list. We need the little black book. We need the client list. Why won't they release things? And then you even had Democrats saying in the House, like, we want to release the files, and they put it to a vote. And Republicans voted to block that release. And they voted to block that release, they said, because, it was part of another bill and it would have passed a bunch of stuff we don't want to pass. So then a bipartisan group went out and they were like, now we should vote on this, and it's Epstein stuff only, right? So everyone's like, release the files, right? And then Ghislaine is like, I got the files. I got them in my head. Like, I'll tell you right now, which is such a crazy thing to me to watch. If you've been watching this whole thing take place, Ghislaine got arrested in like 2020. I think she got sentenced in like 2022, and she's been in jail this whole time. Why is she just now saying, I got the list? It feels like when your boy who like really thought he was gangster finally goes to jail and gets like the first roach in his sandwich, and he's like, I'll tell anything you need me to know, like anybody. If you have any questions, I will answer follow-up questions. Just please get me out of here. I think there's rats in the cheese, please. And so you had Trump really stressing this week, stressing hard, going back and forth with people. This man's getting more comfortable cursing out loud and on text. Like, he's crazy. Just like decorum's fully out the window. Like, there wasn't much of it to begin with, but now he's just like, And this is the other thing that trips me up, is that they're throwing everything they can in front of this like Epstein monster, like Pac-Man, right? Let's just throw this while we run away. And they never admit that Trump isn't doing well in any way, ever. And then they came out saying he had chronic venous, I don't really know what that third word is, I'm not gonna lie to you. But basically he got chronic veins or something. I don't know if that means he got extra, or I don't know what it is, but it's affecting, his health a little bit, and his hand looks horrible. His hand looks like he got an ace bandage on it, but like that's his skin, right? And so I saw that and I was like, wow, they must really want this thing to go. Talk about anything else, please. And then just today, Tulsi Gabbard released these Obama Russia files. You know, the files everybody's talking about. You know, the files that just last week were like, when they gonna release those Obama Russia files? Why can't they get the Obama? What is Obama hiding, all right? We want his Russia files. You know, we've been hungry, thirsty for some Obama Russia files. Ooh, I can't wait to, I can taste them. Let me get those Obama Russia files. That's so bad. That's so bad. It means you have nothing. You truly have nothing to throw in the way of this thing, because Obama Russia file, you won. You won in 2016, you won in 2024. I haven't read the Obama Russia files, admittedly. I haven't read them yet. But I have a spoiler alert for you. Trump came out on top. And he over here stressing when he could have just done nothing. Eventually, he's in the White House, he's asked about it, and he's like, look, if Pam Bondi finds anything credible, she can release it. That's all he had to say the whole time. He could have avoided this entire thing if he had just said that, look, if the AG finds something credible, she can release it. And then people really don't have much to say because it's like, that's what they want. He says you're going to get it. I don't know if that's true, but like, that's all you have to do. Keep your calm, play it cool. Instead, he was like, why would you, And it's because he felt caught. And the only people who within this week have been as caught as Trump and reacted as badly was that couple at the Coldplay concert. I thought I was shocked when I saw like Trump's Epstein files tweets, right? This thing, the clip is about 14 seconds. I've been watching it for 20 hours. Okay, all right. In case you haven't seen this, it's a Coldplay concert, right? Coldplaying. Coldplay doing their thing, all right? Being Colds. Coldplaying particularly hard that night. And they did this thing that's becoming more popular at big concerts, because Coldplay doing like a stadium. And there's a thing that you can do at a public event, like an entertainment event, whether it's sports, whether it's music, whatever, where you can put out a cam into the audience. And I don't know how to describe it, but when you do that, it does make the entire thing, as big as it is, feel more intimate. Because now you're over here enjoying Coldplay, and you see the other people there enjoying Coldplay, and they're just like you. And they're just as excited to be on the screen as you would be to be on the screen. And they're having such a good time, you know? And so you're like, this is amazing. We're all here together enjoying this thing. I genuinely like those cams because it reminds us that we're all doing the same thing, having a good time, you know? And if we're all doing the same thing, having a good time, maybe we're more alike than we think. If we're more alike than we think, then maybe when we leave the basketball game, when we leave the show, whatever, we have less reason to argue. We have less reason to look at each other as like just completely different entities. It's like, you're just like me. You like Coldplay. You know, and I'm not you know, a big enough act to do like a stadium or anything like that. I don't really have screens at my shows and stuff. But I heard that the CEO of the largest tech firm in Louisville was here tonight, and so I brought a cam out tonight. If you want to. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. I can't afford that at all. No, but if you didn't see the clip, is basically Coldplay throwing people up on the cam and having little interactions, or like playing a little something just for them, or just commenting on how sweet people look. And they're going, people, and then they go to this couple. It's not just any couple. They go to a couple holding each other Titanic style. And to be fair to her, she didn't have the arms out like Rose. She was holding his arms. Chris Martin is like, look at this couple. And I don't know, okay. This is where I wish I knew more about like technology and the brain and stuff like that, because the same way that there is latency on the internet and there's a delay on a call where sometimes you can hear yourself in someone else's side of the phone call and you can hear how you spoke, but there's a delay. It's like a second later you hear your own voice, what you just said as you're speaking. So it takes a second. And I don't know, because I've never been in a situation where I've been on a big camera like that, the amount of time it takes your brain to register that that's you that you looking at. Because they're over here, Titanic style. If you've ever seen the film Titanic, and if you're a 90s baby, you know that when Titanic came out initially, home release, it was on VHS. And it's such a long movie, it's such an epic, that there were 2 VHS tapes. If you're young and you don't know what a VHS is, don't tell anybody that. Keep that to yourself and Google it, all right? It makes people feel bad when we have to explain that we used to have to basically bring a projector home inside a hard casing and then put it in a VCR. If you don't know what a VCR is, that's some other letters you don't need to worry about, okay? You're never gonna come in contact with them in your life, but you would put the VHS into the VCR, you would hit play. You understand play, right? You're not too young for play. You would hit play and it would play the thing like it does on demand, but we didn't have on demand yet. Netflix wasn't born yet. We didn't know what streaming was. And Titanic came out and it was such a long movie. I hadn't seen this 2 VHSs. I hadn't seen that since Charlton Heston's 10 Commandments. If you're too young to know what Charlton Heston's 10 Commandments are, it is also a film, but that film is almost as old as the people the film is about, all right? That movie is about Moses, who probably had a VCR, really, like when you think about how long ago Moses was and when we used VCRs. But Titanic came home with you, would add 2 VHS tapes. And you watch the first VHS tape of Titanic and it plays till about half the movie. And then it tells you to enter tape 2. Tape 2, which will be far more depressing. If you were like me and you shopped at a lot of like thrift stores, sometimes when you go to a thrift store, you don't get to get the thing the way it was intended when it was sold. You might go to a thrift store and buy Titanic and think you got all the Titanic in one VHS tape. And then bring Titanic home and watch Titanic, but you only watch tape 1. And so you don't even know that there's a tape 2 until the end of the VHS where it says insert tape 2, and you don't have it. So you're like, all right, I'm just gonna have to settle with what I got, which was a very sweet story about 2 people who met on an epic adventure. I think I'm willing to leave it there. And it's not until years later you find out the horror that is Titanic Part 2. Part 2 where everything going awry. And all I can say is the first 2 seconds that this couple was on the kiss cam looked a lot like Titanic VHS tape 1. And then when they realize that they on the camera, it looks a whole like Titanic VHS tape 2. Honestly, they look like they on the Titanic. When about tape 2 takes place. And so you see them. And this is where things went wrong. Because rather than just playing it cool, than just, chilling, the woman immediately covers her face and whips around. Okay. All right. Look. Look. Don't judge, okay? When I was a kid, there were kids in my neighborhood who went a totally different direction than I did, right? And sometimes I'd hear about them, and you especially hear about them if you stop seeing them around. And I quickly got used to the idea that if I hadn't seen somebody a long time, they probably didn't just move away. They may have been locked up. Something may have happened to them, right? And there was a kid who was nice enough a few blocks down. Sometimes I would walk to work in the morning, and it was a long walk. And I would pass his house, and sometimes he'd be out front of his house with people. I'd say hi, they'd say hi. We weren't like close or anything. And one day when I was back home from college, I went to this hookah lounge with my friends. And at the hookah lounge were the guys who I used to pass by when I was in high school, working that job, running every day to work. And I asked them where, the fourth was, the dude that was usually with them. And they were like, oh, yeah, no, he doing a little time. I was like, what happened? And they were like, well, he ran up in this store to rob it. And, he had he was pretending to have a gun and everything. And not only did he not have a gun, the store clerk wasn't scared of him. And so he's over here doing one of these. Let's talk about this real quick. Because I've known people who have had people run up on them and they didn't see the gun, but they were sure they had a gun because of the way they moved with it, right? A little bit of weight to it. Maybe it was tucked. Maybe it was in the pocket. But there was just a slight motion that they had. There was just a way that they were behaving where if they didn't have a gun, this is some great acting. But this man, he ran up into the store. Give me everything. Do it now. I'm not messing around. I would hate for this to go off. And so the store clerk kept his cool, and he was like, no. He's like, what do you mean? I am armed, ready to kill. "Oh, you don't think I'll do it? I'm crazy." And a store clerk, apparently, according to their story, told me, "I don't think you'll do anything because..." And he points up, and he looked up at the corner, and he was on camera without a mask. And so apparently he went, and walked out the store. I understand the immediate reaction to want to cover your face when you realize you're on camera. But don't do it with your fake gun hand. But he got arrested from rolling up in there and even the attempt and everything. And so he did a little time in jail. And I'm just saying, you're on the kiss cam, and immediately something seems awry when you go, "Oh!" And that by itself wouldn't have actually been that bad. No, I'll tell you right now, this is what I firmly believe. I truly believe this from the bottom of my heart. I think that obviously, there's something up when you see yourself on the cam and go, "Oh," and then you turn around. But, like Chris Martin said, later in the video, maybe shy. Maybe you're shy. And if only one of them had reacted badly, if only one of them had reacted badly, they might not be in this situation. But she went, "Oh!" And then the man just starts to sink. Where did he go? No, for real, where did this dude go? This man didn't just duck under what he thought the camera could cover. This man got caught. She turned around and he went, "Ooh, But like, where did he go? Like, truly, where was he? He never comes back. Did he open a portal? He might have been in an abyss. This was one of the crazy, because then he's gone and then she's just standing there. And in my head, I'm like, I don't know where their seats are, but it seems like he jumped. I was crying. This man went under everyone, I suppose. Fully disappeared. And then Chris Martin went, either that couple is really shy or they're having an affair. And the internet said, or? No, that's an affair, dog. Tried to be gracious just in case, but no. That was wild, and then we didn't know it yet. But there was another woman off to the side that presumably knows everything that's happening with them. And wow, people find out quick. The internet works quick. Internet was like, I got all night. I'm not at the Coldplay concert. And within hours, people found this dude's name, where he worked. They found her. They found out that they weren't married to each other. This man married, and then, the internet did a thing where, look. I do think it's important that people know the truth about what's happening in their lives. And I can only hope, genuinely hope, that the people that reached out to that dude's wife did it with at least some tact. But a lot of people reached out to her, commented, "This is where your husband's at. He's at the Coldplay concert." The Coldplay concert, from my research, isn't even that far from where you live, because I already went ahead and doxed him. I just want you to know. And so then people looked him up, and then they looked her up, and early into people looking her up, she had changed her last name on social, apparently. Knocked his name off. And then it looks like she deleted or made private her socials altogether, which I completely understand. And then people started looking into him. And this is the thing about treating people badly. As soon as something blows up like this, anything you ever did comes out. This dude cheating on his wife, and then other people were giving their little testimonies. "Oh, I worked with him. He's actually terrible. He makes toxic work environments. He's incredibly abusive to his employees," saying all this stuff, right? And I don't know if these people actually work with him or not. It's so hard to tell what about this is real versus people just trying to get in versus people trying to be part of it and stuff. And then I had a moment, genuinely, I had a moment where I was like, what if? Let's entertain for a second. What if this isn't real? I genuinely thought, because some of the kiss cam stunts, some of the things they do at sports games are completely fake. They'll be a fake proposal just to make everybody laugh and maybe go viral, and maybe they'll sell some more Bruins tickets. And then I even thought to myself, okay, you don't really see this happen in music. So maybe, what if this was Coldplay? What if Coldplay was look, this is what we gonna do, all right? We're gonna get the cam up, we're gonna show a bunch of people, we're gonna get it on one couple. They're gonna freak out, Jerry Springer style, all right? One of them gonna duck, he's never gonna come back. He disappears for life. She stands there. The lady next to her, who is supposedly her friend, laughs at their lives crumbling in front of her. It'll go viral. Everybody will be talking about the Coldplay concert. Everybody will be talking about what song we played right before it happened. Genuinely, you have to entertain a lot of things when you're trying to sift through if something's real or not. You have to be skeptical of everything. And I thought about it, and then I saw how Chris Martin moved on after that. And then I saw a wide shot, and I saw that the stadium looked sold out. So I was like, actually, it looks like Coldplay is doing fine. That theory is in the dirt. This looks very real. And then I thought about the company. Andy, his name is Andy. Andy works at a company called Astronomer. I had never heard of Astronomer. I don't think anybody was talking about Astronomer 2 days ago. So then for a second I was like, what if? Astronomer, a tech company, hire Coldplay. to do a stadium show. Coldplay does the stadium show. They have all their fans there. The fans don't know that Coldplay's getting a little bit of money on the side for what's about to happen, and then they throw the camera on the CEO. They throw the camera on the CEO and another employee. Right? And then they create this whole scandal. Now, all of a sudden, everybody's talking about astronomer. What is astronomer? Oh, it's an AI company. What do they do? Oh, they help manage workflow. These are conversations nobody was having 2 days ago. The assumption when you're in the news, when there's a scandal with your CEO, is that your stock price could drop. I don't know if it's a public company, but if the stock price is dropping, seems like a good time to buy. Maybe that's when they buy back their own stock. And then as soon as I was sitting in my room thinking all this, I was like, I think I've been too deep in this Epstein thing. Like, I think that maybe I have a problem. And I just it's really changing how my brain works. And then there's the fallout of this dude, not only is he caught cheating in front of thousands of people, in front of the internet, but also we find out he's a CEO. We're not gonna find much grace there. People aren't really fans of CEOs right now. And then on top of being a CEO, he's a billionaire. You basically made a Venn diagram of the three people that people hate the most. And it's a circle with your name in it. Because it is a terrible thing. A terrible thing that happened. And I just think about how that's something that happens now. You know? Our grandparents, our great-great-parents would have never got caught. No, people's grandparents had whole extra families. And as long as you were willing to be a gentleman about it and really take care of both families, they never met. You know, you went on your family vacation with one family beginning of the summer, family vacation with a second family at the end of the summer, because there used to just be more affordability in the US. A lot of people talk about how back in my day, I could buy a house right out of college. And it's yes, and afford an extra family. Don't forget that. I've talked about this before. I've known people growing up who had that thing happen, where the granddad, they have cousins and half brothers and sisters because of what the granddad did back in the day. And he was doing that on a job that doesn't even exist anymore. That's how much things have changed. This man had 2 whole families as a traveling fork salesman. This man would just go up to people's doors and be like, look, eventually in your life you will come across some spaghetti. And when that happens, you'll want to be, he's selling it like life insurance, you're going to want to be ready when that spaghetti is in front of you, all right? You don't want to be sitting here like a fool with a knife and a spoon. You want to be ready with that spaghetti, all right? And how you get ready? My forks. I got the best forks. My forks can do anything. I got fine dining forks. I got regular forks. I got the nickel forks. You know those forks made of nickel they'll never rust because they're always kind of rusty. If you need forks, I can get it right, all right? Got all types of forks. I got the 4-prong, I got the 3-prong, I got he bad at counting. And then people let him in. He's like, looking at this, was it two bedroom? 2 bedroom? 2-bedroom house? How many kids you got? Oh, you got 3 kids in a 2-bedroom house? You're gonna need at least 16 forks. Made his living selling forks. One day, somebody opened the door for this man and he's immediately smitten. Oh, hello. She's like, yes, how can I help you? He's like, oh, I was trying to, I had this briefcase where I was trying to like fork you, like I just want to, no, I'm trying to give you fork. I mean, I'm trying to sell you forks. I sell forks. My name is John. And then she lets him in. And they get to talking about forks. And then about other things. And he doesn't tell her he's got a wife at home. And they start an affair. An affair where maybe she knows about the wife, maybe she doesn't. But then things grow. They feel like they're in love. They're like, let's get married. He marries her. Now he's got 2 fork families to support. Now he's got to sell forks harder than ever. He's got to go to as many doors as possible because the kids need braces, all of them. No, just he sells as many forks as he can, and then one day, one fateful day, sadly, a Sears opens. He's out of business immediately. If you're young and you don't know what Sears is, it was like a department/everything store where basically it was like Amazon, but you had to go. There was no click. You had to leave the house to go to Amazon, and then you had to go put everything in your cart yourself, and then you had to buy it yourself. It was like working at the factory at Amazon, except you just grabbed what you needed and you left. But then one day Sears opens, he realizes he's ruined. What else is he gonna do? He's only good at selling forks. And so he has to sit his family down. Be like, look, I'll be right back. I'm going to get cigarettes. And then he goes to his other home, his other family, and he's like, sit down, y'all. I have something to tell you. It's important. I have to go get cigarettes. And then he would go off and he'd have his own life, and he would die with a lot of life insurance, and then the 2 families wouldn't meet each other until it was time to collect. And that was the gentlemanly way to cheat in the 30s. All right? Because a CEO of a company dating, openly cheating with, I didn't know this was a real title, with the CPO, which CPO, I found out today, stands for Chief People Officer, which sounds like the most made-up job I've ever heard in my entire life. That job sounds very fake. Chief People Officer sounds like what you say at Thanksgiving when you go home unemployed, knowing that your brother is a doctor and your sister's a lawyer. I'm the Chief People Officer. Oh, and I'm Master of Business. That is crazy. I know it's a real job. I know it's a real title and everything, but just, you could have named it something else. To say that you're in the C-suite, just chief people officer, really sounds like it was not on anyone's mind before the name came out of their mouth. It's like, we have to give her a title. What's the title? She's head of HR. No, she was already head of HR. She got promoted. What is she over again? HR and personnel and hiring. It's like, okay, chief people officer? I don't know. No, it was crazy. And now it just recolors everything with that company. Now they're probably having an investigation right now. You know? Makes you take a second look at everything that happened between them, like performance reviews. Apparently, in one of the performance reviews, the CEO said that the CPO, this is what I read, this might not be right, because everybody talking. But apparently the CEO said the CPO had deeply extensive and impressive knowledge. And that's nasty. I know what he's trying to say. No. That is inappropriate, if anything. I hope they take you down just for that. That's unacceptable. You know? You shouldn't do things that you know are wrong. And I think when you get caught, it's also important to know you're caught and to handle it as best as possible. And I think that as far as that kiss cam couple goes, the only way they could have handled that thing worse was if they had held up signs that said there are no Epstein files. Like, Logan, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well, man. How are you?
I'm doing all right. It does seem like we are held captive right now in someone's grandma's house.
Yeah, if you see the video, yeah, it does. Yeah, specifically a grandma hostage taker is what we have.
Yeah, it looks like we're being kept well fed and entertained with stories. I can't tell if the stories of the torture or the reprieve from the torture, but we know a lot about harmonica playing from the 1920s. A lot about someone named Thurston.
Yep. What soda pop used to cost in the 60s. We know that now.
Also a lot of glass doors, so this is probably one of the most escapable prisons I've ever been in.
Yeah, that's true. This just slides right open. That's not.
Yeah.
No, this is it's strange because the camera's pretty far away if you're watching the video, and the futon we're on. The only way to really sit comfortably was for us to slump back like this.
This futon is so uncomfortable, you can tell no one's ever had sex on it.
Or too many people have had sex on it.
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either.
I feel like this one is even the way I'm sitting right now, this is just regular sitting with regular legs that are just both the feet touching the ground and the ass touching the back of the futon.
Yeah.
And I'm so deeply uncomfortable right now that there's no way someone had pleasurable intercourse on this thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I keep having no way of feeling and looking comfortable.
Yeah. I mean, this is an Airbnb, so neither one of us will have to deal with this situation much longer. But
yeah, this is the second one. This is not the one I was in last week. This one is better. So I know we're not giving it a great review.
It already looks better.
It looks better.
They have a blender.
They do. They have a blender, but they don't have a coffee maker, which is an issue for me. But it's all right. I've been doing instant coffee, and I made it work. But
Yeah.
I just feel like that's one of like the things to put. Like they have that in shitty hotels, have coffee makers.
Which I don't get, because if you're in a really bad hotel, why would you want to be awake for it? I'm just saying. It's like,
fair.
It's weird that they give you coffee so you can stay awake and realize
Right.
what a terrible motel
Because
you're in.
if you go to sleep, then you realize how bad the bed is and that it needs to be cleaned.
Not if you're fully asleep.
Yeah.
If you're unconscious, you're like, it's not until you wake up that you're like, oh, wait, my life is not.
Do you remember we were on the road not too long ago and I just picked up the covers and you could see the light go through the covers and you could see how nasty like the inside of the quilt was?
Yeah, so, okay, how's the best way to explain this?
So I feel weird being way closer than you, but I think I'm more comfortable sitting like this. Is that weirder?
It's only weirder because from here, you look like you're doing a TikTok about me talking.
I think I'm out. Yeah, I'm reacting to you, and I set my shot out of focus because I'm out of focus. Just something like this. This is just not great when you're a big guy to be like, yeah, I want to just lean into the shot gut first is what I really want. And it doesn't help too that the lighting is making me look like, I don't know, the wall. Look at that. There's no chance.
Yeah, you do look like Wall.
Hopefully I do some color correction on this. Anyway, sorry, not to be too visual, but that took some doing to set up, and we're both so warm. But yeah, sorry, the thing you were setting up.
Oh, I don't even remember what that is.
The blanket thing, whatever.
Oh, no, just the blanket. So we were on the road, and Logan lifted up his sheet.
Just the quilt. Yeah, it was like the top quilt.
And wow, the light that went through it revealed what's the best way to describe it? The guts of the quilt.
Yeah, the innards.
Yeah.
The
So
meat.
all of the quilt intestines were fully loose.
Quilt testins? I know you hate when I try for a pun, but I felt like that's the closest I was going to get. Quilt testins.
Yeah.
Sure. But yeah, because it was like I guess like the feathers in it. I don't know if it was like a down blanket, but it had like the feathers in it. But you could see like where the stuffing, how little of it was left. Excuse me, how little of it was left, and how orange it was.
Oh yeah, it was like deep orange to where I thought it was.
And the blanket was not orange. The blanket was white.
I thought it was washed blood. It was so orange.
Yeah, it looked weird.
Yeah,
it was a strange.
And that's one of those things where anytime something is well lived in, it's not going to be great.
It's a nice way to put it. Well lived in.
It like anytime it's been used a lot, it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be. I'm sure it used to be so thick you couldn't see through it with fluffy amounts of feather that felt like a cloud laying on your chest. And by the time we stayed there, years after this hotel had been opened,
Right.
It felt like instead of sleeping on a cloud, it felt like an angel fell out of heaven, but the actual impact of them hitting pavement is what the quilt felt like. It just felt like,
Right.
You know.
Lucifer's blanket.
I mean, it wasn't hot. It was just
Well, but I mean, when he
deeply
first
uncomfortable.
fell.
From
Is
okay,
what I was saying.
gotcha.
The OG fallen angel, the original.
Yeah, we also might be having heat stroke.
Oh, I am not doubting that at all.
You could probably tell, even listening to the recording, that we're both deeply uncomfortable, and that's probably I can't think of a thing that is more likely to be happening right now than me being a bit overheated, pretty tired, and maybe blurred vision.
Yeah. It's like I feel bad that this is what I've been talking about all week. Not necessarily on the podcast, but like just when I've done to people when I've done sets and stuff. But it's so fucking hot. And I mean, I know it's like not just in New York, the world, because the UK set their records. I can't remember if we talked about that last episode, but it's like this is a heat wave for the planet. And I'm staying in places that don't really have AC. This one does, but it's really just the window unit in the bedroom.
I wonder if it's a heat
I chose
wave
wrong
for the places that are like known to be cold. So if there's people right now in places that are usually cold, and they're like, I only had to wear one jacket. It is burning up out here.
I mean, that's kind of how it is. Like
in what, Alaska?
Sometimes. I mean, in the Midwest, hell, like Iowa, Minnesota, like. So
I guess I never count.
Not so much in the summer, but
Yeah, I never really count the Midwest because in my mind, it's like meant to be hot sometimes there.
true.
I'm talking about places that are always cold.
Well, in the Midwest too is like a muggy hot too. We get humid too. So when
Yeah.
it gets hot, like I'm sure. I mean, hell, Louisiana has to be the same. It probably gets muggy as hell down there, right?
The heat stroke in Louisiana is pretty funny because I mean we could cut all that early stuff out and just get right to this in the episode. The heat stroke in Louisiana is very funny to watch because it's like some people there's no difference.
Why do some people write in and call me a monster and not you?
That's
That's what I don't understand. You just said watching heat stroke is funny, and people write in and be like, "Logan's a fucking monster." I'm like, I've never laughed at heat stroke.
I mean, you did when I said it.
Okay, well,
Yeah, I'm just saying there are some
but
people.
I'm a bystander. Still, I'm still a witness, not the doer of the crime.
There are some people that you could talk to where you're like, dang, you had a full stroke in front of me and I didn't notice. Like just the way that you talk and how you carry yourself is already a little slurred, you know?
I did your show on Wednesday, and I know you were at a different show, and I walked up there. Our friend Rob was there. He said I got up on stage and turned around, and just in that time, I was sweating. So first off, I just turned around and was sweat. And then at one point, I tried to say I currently live in the Midwest, and what came out was I live Midwest.
Yeah.
Is all I
Yeah.
said. I said I live Midwest.
But you see, your heat stroke is noticeable because of how you talk normally. But when you get someone who's like,
like a Cajun accent.
yeah, when you get somebody with some drawl, that sounds like heat stroke.
no matter when. No matter
Yeah,
when.
that's how. Like if you get
It's
someone,
December and you're like, are you tired? Did you?
Yeah, if you get someone that's like, you know what the boys over there was saying, man. You know with them boys, you know over there with them boys.
Yeah.
You know there with them boys. It's hot out here with the boys. Oh, you done been before with the boys.
The boys.
Yeah.
Yo, man, I got to rebound that boy.
I need some water and go to the bayou.
Wow.
And then before you know it, they're like slumped over, and you're like, "Hey, is he okay?" Like I've watched heat stroke happen in front of me to other people,
Yeah.
and not known the signs right away. Like I had to learn them when I was pretty young, and then
Are you having heat stroke or are you just Southern?
yeah, 100%, man. Like I think that I think that sadly right now in this moment in life, I'm putting together how much a few accents and dialects out there sound like heat stroke.
Yeah. Name the other ones. Go ahead. Take our show there. Let's get a new fan base. Let's go and become edgelords.
No, I just mean like I think that there are people that I grew up around, especially people in like more of the rural area that had a lot of that French. Slang,
yeah.
Would have the drawl to pull off some
Oh,
really
yeah.
like slow talking that you can't quite understand.
Yeah.
So it's one thing when someone's speaking a different language and they're speaking so fast that even if I spoke that language, I'd need subtitles.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very different when someone's speaking slowly and you're still like, oh no,
I'm still lost.
I don't know what is being said at all.
Yeah.
Especially when it's directions. I've been in the car with people where we get a little bit lost and maybe we're in Ball or something like that, and you know,
In Ball, is that a town?
Ball, Louisiana, yeah.
Okay.
And so they're just parts of Louisiana where if you get lost and you
That's
ask
where you
someone
live
for
now?
directions, they will get you more lost because you don't understand them.
And they're
at
probably
all.
using like local references. When you see the blank, then you.
They'll not only will they use
so
local
fucking hot.
references, but they'll also be like they'll tell you a colloquialism you've never heard before.
Oh, I love that. When you
So
encounter
it'd be
that
like-
in the wild, a new phrase you've never heard.
Yeah. So you're like, oh, you take a stone's throw this far, and then you could just take a left, and then just spitting distance after that. And you're like, these are all
You just give one.
these are all like bodily function things that
Right.
I don't know how that means for a car.
You see this, then you just do a little turtle shuffle to the left.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
No, it's pretty bad. In lieu of us doing like Scare B&B last episode,
Right.
I just remembered there were a couple of things that we had previously like not really touched on specifically when we did some of those old review episodes.
Oh, okay.
And there's just a couple of ones I remembered from some restaurants that like were spillover from. Remember that episode we did?
Yeah.
Okay. And it just made me laugh because we ordered Seamless before we started recording everything because neither one of us had eaten.
Yeah, we're like, let's get hot and full.
Yeah, hot and full is a great
That'll
recipe
be good.
for
That'd be
energy.
good for the show. Let's get hot and full and let's really lean back.
Yeah.
Let's really get comfy, sit back with a full tum-tum.
It would be wild if there's just 30 minutes of this episode where neither one of us are saying anything because we've quickly fallen asleep.
Yeah, or
And then
we are
you-
having heat stroke and are only understanding each other.
Honestly, if I was having heat stroke right now, I wouldn't even be able to tell you. Like, does it come all at once or what's...
I've seen it happen playing football.
I mean, I've seen it happen
No, I
to
know.
other people, but
It
I
is
guess,
weird 'cause
what does
sometimes-
it feel like?
Well, see, the weird one, I can't remember if I've talked about it on the show before. We'll get back to these restaurants, but I can't remember if we talked about it on the show, but when I saw my friend get heat stroke during a football practice, and he stuck with it for a while, and like he says he does not remember like the latter half of the practice really, or like once we got to like the real big conditioning stuff at the end. And he was going hard to the point to where we were doing like up downs and he kept going and they blew the whistle and we stopped and he did like 3 more and we were all like, "Hey, Tom, you can quit." And he's just like, ugh, ugh. And he was just like his body had taken over, but his mind was no longer there until we went to like have our final like, breakdown meeting and he runs up and just falls over. And then he tried to get his pads off and no one noticed, but he got his pads off and then they just got stuck. So he was just laying on the ground with his shoulder pads over his head. And I had to give I think I've definitely talked about this on the show, but then I had to give the on deck speech that night, which is especially like cycles through the seniors and juniors. And you give like a little like speech, like a fucking let's go get him or whatever. And I was slurring and my vision was blurred. So I think I was having heat stroke too. And I had a speech prepared, and it was all gone. I just went there. I'm like, look at this football, and the team because we're playing, and we need, and let's so let's go. And then I said like fuck a few times in it, so I had to run a fence and back too while having heat stroke. Because if you swear, you got to run a fence and back.
Was your coach... I know we've also touched on this. We're going to get to the restaurants.
Yeah,
in a
sorry.
second. But was your coach fit?
Yeah, they were all pretty fit mostly.
Like, in my opinion, you can't coach football unless you're fit.
Unless you do
There's
it too.
nothing like
Yeah.
a out of shape guy telling me to run.
Yeah, no,
that
they
makes me angrier.
they
It's
were all
like,
pretty
you
fit.
do it with me then.
Right,
You
yeah.
need it.
Yeah, you go.
You like I'm out of shape from just being young and not knowing how to be in shape.
Right.
You actually are teetering into some health problems.
They were all in pretty good shape. And that was my biggest thing too, is it wasn't until years later, actually until I started, because I teach with a lot of them now. Mm-hmm. When I sub at that school. So like most of my coaches are all still there. Mm-hmm. And I teach with them and I kind of realize how not old they are. And so I realized that they were all like fucking 25 when I was in high school, which makes me angry now retroactively to be like, I cared so much what these fucking 25-year-olds thought. And now there's no person's opinion I value less than a 25-year-old.
Yeah. What is it like now that because the thing with decades is that teens to 20s feels like a huge gap.
Yes.
And 20s to 30s also feels like a big gap.
Absolutely.
But 30s to 40s and 40s to 50s feels like you're all just adults now.
Yeah.
So now that you're teaching with them, how do you perceive that relationship of like, does it feel like time has shrunk between the two of you?
Like, what do you mean time has shrunk between this?
So if someone's 15 and then someone's 25,
Yeah.
I can see a 15-year-old very much trying to impress a 25-year-old.
They look way older than you and feel just way more worldly
yeah,
than you.
that's what I'm saying. But now, if you're 35 and they're 45, does it feel like there's almost no time between the two of you
Kind of,
now?
yeah. We all feel. I think it's also too because they all, at least if they haven't seen me do stand up, and some of them have, but a lot of them know of my career and living in Chicago and stuff. So I think they also, not that it's like necessarily a respect thing, but they are aware that like I'm doing shit they've never done. You know what I mean? So I think there's a little more of like they're actually interested in my life, and because when you're in high school and you are in a small town in Iowa, you're not that interesting to talk to. You haven't done anything.
Gotcha.
You're a kid in a small town in the middle of nowhere. So, I mean, yeah, I feel much more. I think it's also too, not that I don't care what they think. I respect all of them, and I still think they're all good guys. I just have a way different relationship with them now, where it's like now I'm like, oh, I'm a guy they want to talk to now. It's not just me trying to impress them. I'm also like, oh, a guy they like knowing. Most of them. Mm-hmm. So
no, that makes sense. Because I'm just thinking about that, how if you knew someone when you were 18 and they were 28, that feels like worlds apart. But then if you're 48 and they're 58, it's like, all right, one of y'all get better prices at movie theaters. That's about it.
Right, yeah.
As far as like life differences.
No, for sure.
For
sure. And I guess it's more too, it's not even so much that like when I think back, I'm like, oh, why did I care what they thought? It's like, well, they were my coaches and my teachers. You want them to like you. But it's more, I'm like, oh, I wish I had my view of them that I have now, which I'm like, oh, they're just a guy. Like, yeah, I had to impress them and do stuff for them, but it's also like...
Yeah, I go back and forth on that because here's the thing. When you look at an accomplished person or a person in a position of authority or any of that stuff, when you look at all of them as just a dude, right?
Right.
That's more realistic and it's helpful for perspective, but what it robs you of a little bit is like... If something is special to you and you want that thing and then you want to do it better than the person that you look up to, they can't just be another guy, if that makes sense. They kind of have to have this little like air around them.
Well, and I have that. There were teachers who were older than them, those were like the teachers who were like whoa, those guys are so fucking smart. And like those are the ones I still look at as like the geniuses I knew. And these guys are all smart. It sounds like I'm really bashing the people who are my coaches, and I'm not. I respect all of them and I like them all a lot. But I think I was trying so hard to be like a kid they liked, especially because too, like my older brother was like, they fucking loved him. He was such an amazing student and a really great athlete and stuff too. And I was fine in both categories, So it's like, I'm like, I just want to be liked. And I was more doing that rather than like pursuing stuff because I wanted to be good at it, or, you know what I mean? That's what I mean by it.
Gotcha.
Where it's like, and then that's an ice cream truck going by again. That's 2 episodes in a row that we've had an ice cream truck going right by.
This neighborhood love ice cream.
This neighborhood does love ice cream.
This neighborhood, they got, it's sad.
I hear it everywhere I go in Brooklyn.
There's so much ice cream in Brooklyn. Nobody really can run for the ice cream truck. Like if you miss them, you're just going to have to get them tomorrow.
I mean, it sounds like they go slow. So, because I hear them in just the one block for a long time.
Yeah, I remember one time the ice cream.
What
truck,
did we just talk about for a long time? Was I rambling about my coaches?
Yeah.
God, I'm in my 30s. What is happening?
So one time, and we're gonna get to the restaurants, I promise. One time.
Oh, I hope we don't.
When I was in Louisiana, I was like a teenager, and this is when I would do cross country. My mom gave me a key, so when I got dropped off from school and from practice, I could just go in the house. Because it was when I was like old enough that she didn't need to take me to the library after school every day.
Yeah.
And so, sure enough, man, oof. I remember I got dropped off at home. I went inside and was playing with Rocky or something, and then the ice cream truck for the neighborhood broke down in front of my house.
Oh, shit.
But they just never turned the music off. And so they just were camped out trying to get like someone to bring a tire out and everything.
Yeah.
And selling ice cream the whole time. So for them, it's just business. But for me, it's like 2.5 hours of the same ice cream truck music. And you know what's crazy? So I didn't have any noise canceling anything, And so all I could do was loud. Like I could just play music
All
loud.
I could do was loud.
All I could do was loud to combat it. I couldn't noise cancel. I couldn't Bose it. I didn't have that type of money. And so I could just get loud so that I didn't have to hear it.
All I could do is loud. It pleased me. I live Midwest. All I could do was loud.
I'm just saying that loud does not, it still penetrated the volume.
Right.
Which is crazy because I was blaring stuff. Because after the first 20 minutes, I'm like, man, I hope that, because they had clearly broken down. Like you saw the guy,
right?
His wheel was in a weird position and he was like not quite out of the street.
I wonder if there's something like scientific to the music of those things. Like if they're at a perfect frequency that they can cut through anything.
Yeah, I mean, whatever it is, it should be illegal because it's so infuriating. I was getting so angry. And the first 20 minutes, I was tolerating it because I was like, that guy's probably having a hard day. Like, I was actually trying to be empathetic. Like, that dude's probably having a hard day and everything. And then after, like, the first 40 minutes, I was like, he's at least got to turn the music off, right? Like, I can't be the only one. Like, I even looked out the window at my neighbor's house to see if anybody else was looking out the window to see if anybody else was, like, stressed about
Surely
this.
the neighborhood is infuriated right now.
I was like, surely these people don't love ice cream so much that they need the music while they lick the cone.
It's not special. Then I can just go to a store.
I was getting furious. And then after the first hour, I was like, I need to do something. And so I had little earbuds, but they were terrible. They were like the cheap earbuds.
Well, and even just because how old were you?
Like 13, 14.
Yeah, see, at that age too, like earbud technology was not great because even the early like good earbuds hurt your head.
Yeah, they really like stretched that. You be walking around with some loose ears.
Yeah, they were not built for ear shape at all. They didn't realize it.
They were just so excited that music came through the wires that they were like, leave it.
Yeah, cram these circles into your ears.
And so that didn't work because even though I was listening to music so much it was hurting my ears, I could still hear the like, hello. And so then I was like doing a hum on top of the music. So that I did that. So I was just like, the entire time the music was playing. And it was still cutting through. This is like the telltale heart of ice cream.
Yeah, you truly lost your mind there.
And then I was like,
with earbuds and blaring music, screaming to yourself.
Dude, it was like an hour though.
I know. The best would be then if the music stopped and then everyone outside is just hearing, "Ah!" And they're like, oh shit, turn it back on.
Nah. At an hour and a half, I take out the earbud because now my head just hurts. I have like a headache from how loud the music was.
Well, just humming too. That's gonna hurt.
I turn the TV on. I turn it on full volume. So like, you know those levels that's ridiculous to let a TV go to, like that, like those volumes that go to 80.
Yeah,
I'm at like 77, and I'm just blaring the, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. That Spider-Man just going. But then that's not even enough consistent audio to be cutting out.
They say that a hero can save.
We're not even there yet. We're not even to like the credits.
Oh, is that just the soundtrack? It's the movie, yeah.
This is the movie. And so even the slow parts.
Yeah, careful that you don't unplug that, please.
Oh, yeah. No, it's just even the slow parts are just straight up blaring. Now the ice cream music seems louder because the movie is so loud. So I'm like, anytime I can hear it I'm like, did he turn up the volume as well?
I just love too the ice cream music in the background and then Green Goblin laughing over it. Like, there it fucking is again. There's the y'all talking shit.
But look, wait. This thing. So you see how it started again?
It dips. Yeah, if you can't hear it, sorry, the music stopped for a second because we're hearing the truck go back again.
Yeah. Now, what they did in Louisiana in my neighborhood was they were like, and they do it again and again and again, and then it stopped, and then you would hear, hello.
That's what I was wondering, because you said that, and I understood that you meant like that's how it played in your thing, but that sounds genuinely alarming.
No, it's horrible. It's so bad. And so that's also happening.
That sounds like Pennywise.
For 2.5 hours.
Hello. Do.
I've never in my life wanted to brandish a gun.
Wow.
More than when I hit the 2-hour mark. Of that ice cream music, because I was just like, guys, this is now everyone in the neighborhood that's gonna buy ice cream has bought ice cream. You're not weighing anybody else down,
right?
You know, like you're not leaning on them hard enough for them to come out of their house and be like anything to make the music stop. Everybody that's bought ice cream is gonna buy ice cream.
Anything to make the music
bro,
stop.
Just turn it off.
Wow.
Yeah.
How'd their business do though? Did a lot of people swarm the
No,
truck?
They got swarmed at first, but then this is my problem. Everyone that swarms you lives here. You were already driving around the neighborhood. You were going to get them anyway.
Oh, that meant there were some kids a few blocks away who were really excited for 2 hours for the truck to get to their house.
Yeah, I guess so.
They just stood there waiting.
I guess they just sat there like,
just outside.
Any minute now.
It's got to be coming.
Yeah, my mom doesn't like me walking to the edge of the street, so
I got to stay here and wait. It's so hot out here.
Yeah.
I got the money crumpled up in my hand, and I just want them to. Why won't it come?
Have you ever seen the fire hydrant get open? Like,
not get opened. I've seen it open, but yeah.
Oh no! I've watched it this year especially. They're popping hydrants hard.
Oh, I've been seeing a lot of them already going, but I haven't seen like the process.
Yeah. Oof. There was one guy who popped it open. It was about to close it, and a guy ran up and he was like, "Hey, just give me a minute."
Good.
And then took like a full shower with the hydrant. Like people had stopped playing in it. So the guy was about to close it. And he was like, hey, let me do my thing. And
just let me cool off a bit. There we go.
Man. That sucks.
Yeah, it has been a hot couple weeks out here. I'm sure it is just everywhere, but you get that, I don't know, that New York sweat's a different sweat. I will say that. I don't know what it is.
Yeah. I spent this whole time thinking I left Louisiana.
Yeah. This thing.
It's like almost as bad.
Like I've been in like LA when it's hot, but it's that, I think it's just that desert hot. It's a little more dry. There's an ocean nearby. I mean, I guess there's an ocean nearby here too, but it hates us. I don't know. It must just be the tall ass buildings and all the concrete. It must just be that. It just it turns into one big hot rock.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't even imagine what I'll do if this continues.
I have like every time I get back from doing something, I get home and I have to peel off a wet shirt and then just, I don't know, just try anything.
It's like, because you can't move. You can't move from Earth, so
you can't move from Earth.
We're just here.
Yeah, I thought we had more time before the end was coming, but boy, she's barreling forward at us.
Oh my god! It's like
this can't be a good podcast to listen to, can it?
I mean, we've got out of the 30 minutes we've been recording, we have 20 minutes that are very entertaining.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
just checking.
Yeah. It won't be until you listen back that you know for sure, but the parts that you've laughed have been funny.
I know. I was just joking because it's just us constantly being like, oh, it's so hot.
Yeah, but it's also hot for them listening.
That's true. True.
If they listen to this in the winter of 2023, it's going to look like a misstep. It's going to look like, wow, they really cared about what was going on in their life at that moment.
Yeah. Always check the date of the podcast episode you're listening to just for some general context. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's like when I was like finding new podcasts to listen to, and then you that started a few years back, and then you catch up to like 2020, and it's always like the show changes completely. And everyone sounds a little more confused and sad. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's how we were all thinking then.
Yeah. It's so hot in here, I'm almost positive every one of these plants is fake.
That's a good point.
There's no way they're alive.
Now that one's definitely fake. Probably those ones too. That one, I mean, yeah, that one looks plastic.
Yeah, for those of y'all who can't see, which is everyone watching.
Because even if you're watching, they're off camera.
There are 5 plants in here, and I'm almost positive that 4 of them are fake. And the only reason that bothers me is that...
Well, also, I'm not watering them, so I hope they're fake. No one's sneaking in here to give them water.
I don't like the stolen valor of fake plants.
The stolen valor of fake plants.
Let me just explain. So
I'm very excited. We're going to get to the restaurant reviews in a second.
There are people out there that take care of plants in their home. Mm-hmm. They keep them alive.
Yep.
They keep the oxygen in the apartment fresher.
Sure.
All right. And they show responsibility for caring for a living thing. Then there are other people who are like, let me just take all of that and buy something plastic for $6.
Yeah.
And put it in the same place I would put the real plant.
I like to think of it as an action figure of a plant.
I think of it as plant taxidermy, and it's disgusting.
Plantsodermy. Come on, that one was right there. I knew you were going to hate that one, too.
Honestly, if the seat on this futon wasn't backwards and I wasn't sunk it in, I would get up right now.
Say if I had any strength at all, I'd storm away.
Yeah.
Jess has been, I can't remember if we've talked about this, but Jess has been a little plant crazy these days.
Really?
We got a lot of plants in the fucking house now. And it's like, it's okay. I'm fine with it. But it's like, it seems like anytime we go anywhere. We were here in New York when she was here with me. And we walked by somewhere and she was like, ooh, I could get this. I'm like, no, you can't. That's not going to fit in your carry-on. What are you doing? You're not going to buy plants here. She's like, well, they might ship it. I'm like, or we'll just find it where we live. Like, don't do that.
Yeah, New York doesn't have any special plants.
And exactly. And the time we've shipped plants, they get all fucked up. So she's done it before. They show up not happy because it turns out plants don't love living in a box for a couple days.
So when I was taking the bus,
yeah,
this is like maybe 2 years ago because this was so close. I was taking the bus to do a show 3 years ago, I guess, because it would have been 2019.
Yeah.
Taking the bus to do a quick spot in Connecticut.
Okay.
And I was like, I was on the bus, and the whole time I was on the bus, I was like, I should have just taken the train. I feel that way every time I take a bus. I'm like, sometimes the train is not quicker. A lot of people think that the train's going to be quicker because it's like a straight shot and there shouldn't be any traffic or anything. Mm-hmm. But sometimes there is. Sometimes something happens with a train that's an hour ahead of you.
And it's the only one path it can really take.
It's the one path you can take, so then it does delay you by 30 minutes or 45 minutes. Like, it's a misconception that the train is just always on time. They love to be on time, but they're not always.
Right.
Anyway, I'm on this bus, and there's this grown man handling a bag with a bag in it of fish, right? Of like live fish. So he's like clearly gone to a pet store and bought some fish.
Right.
And I don't know where exactly he's going, but he's in New York getting on the Connecticut directed bus. So he's at least going to be riding for a while.
God, I hope this doesn't have the same ending as the bag of soda, man.
No.
That'd be a bummer.
No. But
then the guy with an umbrella gets on the bus.
No, but it's just funny to me because he had all these fish, different fish, by the way, that were going to be, I was assuming, in the same aquarium. And he was like an aisle over from me. Mm-hmm. And so I was just like casually looking in the bag as he was handling it because he kept adjusting them. Like he kept like putting one that was at the bottom up at the top and like taking them out and putting them back in and stuff like that. And I was
taking.
So there were like a bag of goldfish,
right? A
bag of the little bitty, whatever you call them. They've got a little color to them, and they're like faster than goldfish, but they're much smaller.
Okay.
Let me see. I mean, I know you don't care about the actual type, but like it was like imagine a goldfish
Right.
And then these little things that are just like, they usually have whole schools of them in some aquariums.
Right. Yeah. I
Yeah.
couldn't tell you what they're called, but I
And
think I know what you're
then,
talking about.
what I think was an algae eater, because it was like a little long and had
Yeah.
the like,
Flat mouth.
not just the flat mouth, the color.
A fish with no chin.
Yeah, fish with no chin, glass jawfish.
Just that flat neck.
the pattern on it was like an algae eater. And so he kept just taking the bags out and putting them on top of each other. And I was like,
Like that was
this
going
is
to do
making-
anything?
I don't know if he was trying to keep them warm or cold. Like it was just him moving them around a lot.
I don't want any of them to feel superior to the others.
Yeah, I want them all to know that at any point in their life, I could change how they live. You ever buy fish just to play God?
I have a feeling that's what some people do, actually.
Yeah.
Same with plants. You just want to feel powerful.
Yeah, you want to watch something die in your apartment that you're allowed to kill.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's not as grim as, other pets.
You just walk by the plant like your days are numbered.
What's the thing? It's like I remember one time Jess was getting angry that one of her plants like kept doing bad, like, and she was doing everything right for it, and she's like, "This plant's gonna fucking die." I'm so disappointed. I say, "Don't they tell you to talk positively to the plant?" And
Yeah.
she's like, "If it would get its fucking shit together." I'm like, "No, but maybe that's what's killing it."
Yeah.
If they keep saying you should be positive to your plants, and you're meanwhile you're pouring water into it, just live, you piece of shit.
Yeah, you're really being like a step parent to this
Yeah,
plant.
exactly. Yeah, the plant knows you don't love it.
Yeah. You're just trying to
doing your job.
get with its mom,
Yeah, I sat down with our cactus and I said, "You can call me dad.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to replace your dad. Your dad cactus. Your dad-tus."
Yeah. That's one of my favorites. Now that I'm like getting a bit older, I have friends who are dating people with kids for the first time.
Oh yeah.
And one of my favorites is
You ever date anybody that had a kid?
nah.
Okay, me neither.
Nah, but I I've been told, this was not like, I wasn't privy to this conversation when it was happening, but I've been told one of our friends, not you and I say me and the person that told me the story, tried to bribe the kid and just tell him to tell his mom that they went to Disney World and had a great time, and gave him $150.
Wow.
But in my head, I was like, you almost at Disney money.
Yeah.
That means you really just don't want to spend the time with them, because you almost had enough money for both of y'all to go.
You didn't want to get to know the kid.
Yeah. It's like, listen, you can go over the story with me and everything. I got 150 for you.
Yeah.
Just, tell her we had a great time. Tell her we hung out, whatever.
What happened? Did the kid keep up his end of the deal, or?
It seems like it.
Because if not, it'd be great too if the kid just took the money and then was like, "Guess what he just fucking did? Wants me to lie about going to Disneyland."
Yeah. It would be funnier if he took the money and was like, he hit me. He struck me.
Well, then she's like, "Well, so where's the money he gave you?" He's like, "Oh shoot, I must have lost it."
He must have hit me so hard that it flew out of my pockets.
Anyway, don't worry about all these Hot Wheels.
Yeah. Because it's also very hard to spend money as a little kid.
Especially that amount of money. You have nothing really. Once you buy a few toys, then I'm just like, okay, now I've got more money.
Imagine if you come home with like a full arms full box of Snickers and then just try to act normal.
I found it.
Yeah, I found this box. Fell off a truck,
Mom.
Mom.
Can we keep it? Yeah, it fell off a truck.
Fell off a Snickers truck, and they wouldn't want them all road rashed and everything.
This is gonna go to the discount store. I want these Snickers to have a good life.
Can I tell you, when I was little and we used to go to the dollar store and stuff like that, every once in a while they'd have like a brand name candy there.
Yeah.
For like way too cheap. And so other kids were getting excited in the aisle to check out, and I was always like, what did y'all do to it? That because it's only when I go to other stores, it's only 20 cents more.
They're all pre-melted.
Yeah, I was like, what's wrong with this?
Or Grave, it was just like a mislabeling though. Oh, awesome, a Snorkers.
It's like, oh man, Mom, can you give me that Twiddlers?
I can't wait to eat this Malky Walks.
Yeah, wow, this chocolate is so spicy. This Herschel's bar does not taste good.
Give me a handful of Scuttles.
Yeah, Scuttles would probably be fire though.
Scuttles, I bet.
Yeah, Scuttles sounds like the people who lost the lawsuit to Skittles that actually came up with Skittles.
Yeah,
like someone tried a Scuttle and they were like, I'll just take this home in my mouth without chewing, and then they just spit it out at home and try to figure out the recipe from there.
Right. Yeah, a Scuttle is made with real fruit.
Yeah,
it's actual fruit flavor.
Yeah, but that's too expensive, so they went with what? Titanium dioxide.
Some red 47 or whatever the hell.
Yeah.
So those restaurant reviews.
Oh, okay. So it was just this restaurant review that made me laugh because it was to like a southern seafood place, and they were complaining about the wait, which is a valid complaint. Like they were like, wait time was extra long.
Damn,
and
this
everything.
is how fucking hot and melty my brain is right now. I'm like, what? Like the fish was too light? I literally was like, they were complaining about the weight. Like catfish supposed to be heavier or something. That's how fucking.
Maybe you do have heat stroke.
I think so.
Maybe that should be the title of this episode.
I think the name of this episode, I already thought. The name of this episode would probably just be Josh and Logan get heat stroke.
I'm fine. Yeah, I'm good. You're the one that's all.
Nah, you said some shit earlier.
What did I say earlier?
I don't know.
What did I say earlier that I didn't mean? I stand by everything that I've said.
I've meant everything I've said, but you've also left out some words.
I don't know if I believe you.
All I could do was loud.
Yeah, but I would say that even if it was freezing cold in here. All I could do was loud.
Okay.
Yeah. You acted like you've never made fun of how I've said things before, and I'm only talking like this now.
I don't know.
If I didn't have my history, then yes, I'd be like, you should call an ambulance. But because I talk the way that I talk, this is par for the course. So, yeah, they were complaining. Do you need me to slap the back?
No.
Oh.
I choked on water now. That I think definitely was more like the angle I'm sitting at. This is not a comfortable angle to drink.
Yeah, we should do a supercut of everything in here that's unusable.
I think that'll be the episode, bud.
No, we should do, because I think that honestly we've got some great stuff, and then we have stuff where I'm like, are you like just now where I'm like, it looks bad on camera because I don't look concerned enough. I can.
Oh, you're just trying to protect you.
I'm not talking. I'm telling you to put it out. I'm not trying to protect me at all. I'm just saying in the camera, I'm sure I don't look concerned because I wasn't sure what was happening. I didn't realize you were choking. I just thought
I wasn't choking. It just went down, the wrong tube or whatever. Just kind of.
People say that, but are there really multiple tubes in your throat?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. You were always like, went down the wrong hole. I'm like,
it's whatever it is that people say when that happens. I think I swallowed like a weird air bubble because, again, I'm like, I rarely drink reclined. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like if you were like one of those people that needed the home health care and they sat you like this, it would be to kill you.
Yeah.
It'd be you taking a sip of water and just like,
because even right there, I just took a sip and I realized how much like air is in your mouth when you're trying to like get a drink like this. Anyway, the catfish was too heavy.
I mean, it's barely worth doing.
No,
anymore.
come on, we're here.
So the catfish was like, the catfish was fine. The wait time to get in was very long, and then the wait time once they sat down was just as long. So they were like, "Well, why aren't we still like? What's the point of even waiting inside if the wait time is going to be as long as we were waiting to get in the restaurant?" Right. And then the food came. The catfish was good, but every other side was insane. Was like their mac and cheese was like clearly some of the macaroni had been cooked all the way, so it was crunchy as hell. And it just made me laugh.
That's cruncheroni. Just you're good.
Yeah.
Don't worry. It's a new cool thing we're doing.
And this person said in the review that they chipped a tooth on the mac and cheese.
Oh, damn!
Like they broke a crown in the back. Because the mac and cheese was like they it's not like they ate the whole thing. Once they realized that it wasn't like a freak thing,
right?
They were like, "Oh, I'm done with it." But then they took. Obviously, you take a spoonful. You're very hungry. You've been waiting for an hour and a half or more, and so as soon as you get your food comes, you start digging in.
Yeah,
and they bit into this like very undercooked mac and cheese. And just
that's great.
Lost a little bit of a dental work with it.
We thought you ordered it rare.
Yeah, we thought you really wanted a challenge in your mac and cheese.
Yeah.
We weren't sure if you were one of these absolute wimps.
Yeah,
who likes it cooked all the way.
Yeah, are you on a
through.
raw diet? We thought you were on a raw diet, and that's what we just give it to you. We just straight from the box.
Yeah, that's why it is piping hot cheese. With not even cooked macaroni.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Did you have another one, or was that the whole?
No, I mean, that was it.
Good, okay.
Yeah.
I liked it. Then I think we, as much as we didn't get to the review, it took up the perfect amount of time, I think. Because now, we can open the...
And you talking about how we both have heat stroke.
I didn't say I didn't have it worse.
All right. It just seems like between the two of us, if one of us needed attention, it should be you first.
Oh, I agree with you 100%. Don't help him.
No, I'm just saying, if we Uber to the hospital right now, I'd be like, hey, my friend is not doing well. And the simple fact I was able to explain that to you means I'm fine.
I am not disagreeing with you. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying we both need an IV, I think.
What have I done?
I like that you're
a fiddle.
I like that we spent most of this both
so healthy,
complaining about how hot and uncomfortable we are, and now you're pretending like everything's great for you.
I'm not saying everything is great. Almost everything is great.
All right. Well, let's open up the MUBA. Let's see here. I've got a couple picked out. This is from Bucco. Who is it? Bucco or Bucco? Because spelt. I'm wondering if am I supposed to put more stank?
I think it's Bucco.
Okay, I just can't tell if it's like because like it looks like the word book. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So it's like Bucco is different than Bucco. You know what I mean? I'm just wondering.
No, I'm with you. I just think you said it right the second time.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
that's why I just wanted your opinion.
What I like about this already is that we've pronounced their name several different ways, and then
we had to have got it right
at some point, and now the way they open up is funny because it's lots of iterations of our name.
That is true. I didn't even see that. Yeah, this one is titled Advice, and it says, Hey, Jogan, Lashi, J-Lo, Squeaks in Toontown. This is Bucco. I wanted to suggest that y'all start an advice segment on the podcast. I think you did really well when giving advice during the mailbag last week and think that should be a regular thing you do. That was, I think, off of the relationship advice we had gotten into. Also, Josh, get Logan's face tattooed on you, or y'all can get matching / complimentary tattoos. Like Logan gets a little man holding specs, and Josh has a little man that's squinting and tripping. I just got my first tattoos less than a week ago, and they aren't that sore. Now, that part just seemed like a brag.
Yeah, that does seem like I just don't feel pain like some of y'all.
Yeah, I'm doing great, but you two are scared of needles. Mm-hmm. Also, if we're asking for advice, I don't really know how to flirt sober, and I want the lady that did my tattoo to be my girlfriend. She's very pretty and really interesting. kind of older than me, but I don't really be dating people my age, which I think is okay because I'm an adultish woman. I'm 21, so you don't think I'm a minor. That is probably good clarification to put in there. Because if you were like, I'm 15, I'd be like, oh, don't worry, you're gonna strike out with everyone for the next 10 years.
Should leave her alone.
How do I start talking to her? Because I have her number. Thanks for the podcast. I love it. And you guys, my mom loves it when you aren't swearing. Sorry, that's mostly at me. My friends love it because we have the same sense of humor. And I've put a few ex-boyfriends on game. Thanks for being the sun in my stormy weather. Kind regards, Buko. P.S. Sorry this email is so long. Not that long. I think you did great. I think you nailed it with the email length. So if I could tackle the question first real quick.
Okay.
To me, it really depends on one caveat. It depends. Do you have their number because they gave it to you? Or do you have it because they do your tattoos? Because if it's just because like they're the person you hit up for like, oh, here's what I'm thinking of getting, lining up the appointment time. Because I know people who have that. They just have like their tattooist number. So if you have it strictly from that business transaction, you may want to leave this person alone unless you have a personal relationship with them. If they gave you your number because you guys like hit it off and then exchange numbers to like talk, then that just changes it. Then you are open to a conversation, I think. But I think otherwise it's a little bit of like, trying to hit on a waitress because they're being nice to you. And it's like, but that's part of their job,
Yeah, I slightly disagree because I think that if you have their number in a professional setting,
right,
but then you strike up a conversation that's light, so not even directly getting to.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying it's undoable. I'm saying it just changes how you do it.
I think that if you can bring up light conversation that's not tattoo related while having their number, no matter which way you got it, then there might be the possibility for a coffee or a lunch or a chat.
Right.
I think that it's kind of like when you're in school and especially when you go to a small school or when you're in a camp or something and they just give everyone's numbers to everybody. That's not the same as having the person's number.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like if you go to camp with someone and you're all camp counselors and so you have all the other camp counselors' numbers, that's not you having her number.
Yeah.
Because she won't know that you're calling because it's you when you call. But if in any form you were given the number specifically and then you use that number to have a light chat that's not in any way romantic or about meeting up, just like, hey, I thought this thing was funny, something like that. I think if that is reciprocated, then now you can see an open door potentially,
right,
for a meetup that is lunch. I think any approach that takes it slow is kind of fair and leads to no one being uncomfortable. And then also, if you're talking about how to approach people, hit on people sober, I would say that, especially since this is your tattoo artist. So this is her tattoo artist?
I believe so.
Okay. So this being her tattoo artist, you just roll up and you're like, hey, baby girl, you already been sticking it in me.
Jesus Christ.
What? This entire time.
Don't say that. Don't say that to them.
It's nothing you haven't seen. All right. We would just be doing what you do, but a little slower.
You've already been in me and causing me pain. We basically married.
Yeah. Let's do this together.
Yeah.
So read to me again the part hitting on people sober. What else was that?
All right. So I don't really know how to flirt sober, and I want the lady that did my tattoo to be my girlfriend.
Okay.
She's very pretty and really interesting, a little bit older. How do I start talking to her because I have her number? And again, I think if she gave you the number because you guys were like chatting and exchange numbers for even whether dating and or just a friendship, then I think you're open to just, friendly conversation.
So my thing as well, when it comes to approaching people sober, I think that people who need to do it slightly tipsy or with like a little bit of that liquid courage or forgetting and overthinking that these are just people moving through the world like you. So I understand the intimidation because I've had to approach anyone that I've ever approached sober. You know, I've had
Right,
to like
yeah.
ask anyone out that I've ever asked out sober. So I get that there's a little bit of a fear of rejection, and then there's a fear of embarrassment. But on the other side of that thing, even if it were to happen, is just you knowing where you stand now, which is better than wondering and hoping and overthinking and everything.
Yeah.
I think that you also can point to any person, and if you ask them the amount of times in life that they've been horribly, humiliatingly rejected, they're always lower than you would think. So we spend our entire lives trying to avoid any of them happening. But then when you really look at someone just taking you to task for asking them out, I'm not saying that never happens. I'm just saying those things are so rare. Like,
Right.
like any decent person that you would want to be with could treat you in a way that, oh, okay, maybe they're not into it, but at least I know now.
Yeah.
The fear that we have about approaching people or flirting or like being our intentions being misrepresented always through our imagination take such a worse turn than they usually do in real life.
Well, I think it's because too the hardest part about approaching sober, and I think this is why a lot of people like to do it with liquid courage, because it does literally give you that like confidence, because one of the hardest things is being confident in yourself, and that's what it always takes, is like, what is the part of you you're most confident in, the most part of your sense of humor that you're like, I think this, I'm actually funny in this way, or blah blah. It takes a long time, any of us, even us as comedians, takes a long time before you feel like really comfortable just being yourself in the world. And that's why I think a lot of people like having that liquid courage, because it kills some of those. Not so much that it gives you courage, it just stops some of your, I don't know, practical thoughts of maybe about being too much. You know what I mean? I think is more what it is. So it's like, and I know especially like 21, like not saying you don't know who you are, but that's a tough age too, to sometimes, because you're still just kind of acclimating yourself to like out on my own adult life. You know what I mean? So it's like whatever parts about your personality that you're just like, and you might initially be like, I don't like my personality. That's fine. Get past that thought. What are the things about you think are the most appealing? Like for me, it was always like, you know what? I do know I'm funny. I know not everyone finds me funny, but I do know I am funny, and I can lead with that and be confident in my sense of humor. Not trying to be jokey all the time, but being confident in my sense of humor and be like, well, if they don't like it, then they're not going to like me. And while that might hurt sometimes, that was always enough for me to be like, oh, well, then I won't pursue this person anymore because they don't really get what I'm talking about. Doesn't mean they're dumb or anything. Just means like this will be a hard relationship if I'm constantly making these jokes and they don't like them. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like it's that high risk, high reward kind of situation.
Yeah. So I would even say that sometimes when I've just seen from the outside looking in that sometimes even when people try to flirt while they're not sober, they're not really flirting the way they think they're flirting as well. So it's not like you can ever it's best to take these things head on emotionally, because it's not like you can cheat the system in a sense. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I've known guys who had just trouble around women. And so then they like get a little tipsy because they were nervous about asking someone out.
Right.
And then they ask them out way too close to their face. And now you have a different issue. So it's like being comfortable with yourself and settling into yourself is, that's great advice, because I think that that's the best way that in any situation you start to know and feel worthy of someone else's time and attention, which is the main point of being confident in approaching a person. Yeah.
And if you shoot your shot and it doesn't really work out, they do your tattoos, so now you can just easily sidestep this into a business transaction. Be like, oh, hey, I was thinking about getting this. You know what I mean? If it's like, they didn't really take the bait or whatever, I'm going to, all right, let me not take the bait. That's the wrong wording, but you know what I mean? Like, they don't seem to be going for this. Like, oh, hey, I'm thinking about maybe getting another one. Blah, blah, blah. What do you think about this? Is this something you could do? Mm-hmm. And then the conversation go back to tattoos, and then you save a little ego there.
Also, all of all of life is like practice for other points in life.
Mm-hmm.
And so just you facing that sort of, quote unquote fear, but like facing that aspect of fear and asking that person out is better practice even for the next time you might have to do it, or
And
the
also-
next time you might have to do it.
And
you
also,
know?
if she's an attractive tattoo artist, she has been hit on probably so many times in way worse ways. So whatever you do probably won't be the worst. You know
I can
what
see
mean?
that. Yeah.
There's definitely, probably hardcore like bros who've really tried to be like, yeah, and hey, since you're down there, that kind of shit. It'll be those kind of assholes. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So it's like, I don't know.
Yeah. I just think that practice thing is huge, because I think
Absolutely.
that eventually you get to a point where you feel comfortable, even if it's just through repetition of like shooting your shot.
Yeah. So we hope that helped, and hope it all made sense.
Wouldn't it be
because-
wild if they wrote in the next week like, hey, you guys probably shouldn't give advice anymore? Like, that probably should be an aspect of the show.
Hey, we weren't asking for it, so it's all good. This next one here, this is from Calliope, and can I be honest with you, even non-heat stroke brain, I know what that word is. I know what the word Calliope is. It always reads wrong in my brain the first time. It always registers as calliope the first time, and I go, that's not a word, and like I have to do that every time I read that. That's just a little fun fact about me. But anyway, this one is called Thank You. Hi, Toontown and Squeaks. First off, hi, my name is Calliope, and my pronouns are he, they. These past couple years, I've been struggling with coming to terms with my gender and sexuality, and my family being very openly against the LGBTQ plus community hasn't helped any, for obvious reasons. I found comfort in comedians, and Josh became one of my favorites very quickly, and I started showing his videos to all of my friends. When I found out about this podcast a few months ago, I can say without a doubt that I felt much better. High school has been tough, and I'm moving to a whole new state soon, but you guys have helped me deal with it all. Anyways, thank you both for helping me through this weird time in my life. When I listen, I don't worry about any of my issues, and I think that's neat. That's all. Thank you both, from Calliope. Oh, also, 10 million jangles out of 3. I know it's not the most jangles we've gotten, but I think...
By ratio.
I think by ratio it is.
It might be, yeah.
10 million out of 3, I think, is way more than the other larger groups of jangles we have received, I think, actually. I think so. I think ratio-wise, you're winning in that one, Calliope.
Yeah.
Glad to hear that. Sorry, things have been tough, and I know I've moved to new places, especially when I was even when I was younger than high school. And there's nerves to that, but like the one good thing is like, yeah, but you get to be a fresh person to all of them. Mm-hmm. It's like you get to truly make a first impression, and especially being in high school, you're old enough to kind of know what that's going to be. Because I did it when I was in like 3rd grade, and that's like, look back now, I'm like, maybe I was too much, I was in 3rd grade. I wasn't really thinking about it.
Yeah, I feel like as well, moving to a new place and everything that you're going through. I mean, I'm really glad that the podcast and comedy are an outlet. Like, I know that they're always an outlet for me when I'm feeling any particular way. I think that comedy is such a great, like, it's not even just laugh as a distraction. It's like laugh as a means to break down an idea. Mm-hmm. And so, I really hope that the podcast continues to be that for you, and that things get better quicker, because they get better, period. But
right.
Sometimes while you're waiting for them to get better, it can feel longer than the process is. Like, I think back to high school, and high school to college was such a great transition for me, where all the qualities that I felt like made me self-conscious in high school, all of a sudden were all the things that propelled me in my like college years.
Yeah.
And so I think finding out more about yourself, knowing yourself, and knowing the people around you and how they fit into how you see your future are all very powerful tools in the journey to self-actualization. Because there are some people that, they're not going to fit in to what you see for yourself the way that you think. And so keeping those things flexible is always good. You know, there are people who I think if I had held on to, even from early on, if I had held on to them, I might not be like a confident person, or I might be like you have to both be accepting of people the way you want them to accept you, but also accept the reality of what that person is like. So always offering up the means for them to make changes, but also not expecting them to wake up one day and just get everything the way that you would like for them to get it, you know?
Right.
Because I think that leads to a lot of disappointment in relationships, both like romantic and family, where you're like, why don't they just get it? And it's like, there's no telling why they're going to behave the way they're going to behave. They have a whole set of human baggage that they carry.
Yeah.
But I think that all you can do is learn more about yourself every day and find positive outlets. And I'm glad that we can be one of those things.
Yeah. Yeah. And also in return, thank you for sending in that message, because the people that send those messages saying like this show helps them, makes them feel better, it's that cyclical thing where it makes us feel better about doing it and knowing that like while we're fine if it is just us sitting on a couch talking, it's nice that people get something out of it. So it's this fun thing where we all boost each other by being a part of it. You know what I mean?
Grandma's couch talking that we're clearly being held captive at. That
we're making the best of our hostage situation.
yeah.
Let's read one more. This one says, this is from Sierra, and I'm reading this one mainly because it's July 28th in Philly, which this episode will come out July 28th, and we will be in Philly.
Okay, wow.
And so, hello, Concussed King and Wedding Wanderer. I like both of those. Those are pretty good.
Yeah. The Wedding Wanderer sounds like a Game of Thrones thing.
A little bit. I've emailed before, was there during a live show where we talked about school lunches, and you got to see Josh in New York City earlier this year. Oh, and they got to see. That's a picture of y'all, it looks like.
Oh, sweet.
There we go. But yes, I do remember the one we talked about school lunches on the virtual live show. But my birthday is July 28th, which would be today. So happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
And imagine my surprise when I heard that both of you are performing in Philly that night. I bought the tickets immediately after they were announced for the front row. And because it's my birthday, my friends and my boyfriend are being forced to come. So I hope they have a good time.
Yeah. It would be wild to see like two people having a good time and then three other people like
just I hope to have a chance to talk to you both after the show, especially because last time I was really anxious to talk to Josh, like he was going to ignore me or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, I'll be more prepared. My question is, has Josh gone roller skating before? And if he has, is he any good? I've recently bought my own just as a hobby, and I'm okay, but when I go, there's always this old black man and his friends who synchronize skate, which I find a little cheesy and cute. Please take no offense, but I feel like that's Josh's future. Can't wait to see your show. P.S. I've shaved my head since then, and I'll be overdressed because it's my birthday, and I'm not letting the fact that it's a Thursday night hold me back. Also, I'm unfortunately the pale one. Oh, in the photo. Okay, I know you're gonna do it for your birthday. Please do not show up very drunk. If you reserved your front row ticks, please don't make us have to handle you.
I have been roller skating before.
How'd it go?
I roller skated, then I roller bladed, and I've been several times, and none of them have gone particularly great. I'm definitely one of the, like wallflowers at a dance. Mm-hmm. I'm definitely one of the
rink flowers,
the rink grabbers. You know, the people who hold on.
A real rail grabber.
Yeah, because then
sounds like an insult.
The rink that we had near me, the closest one when I was younger, had a rink that had the sort of was the actual partition called? Like the rink is the actual partition between standing and the
right. The little half wall, whatever.
So the half wall stopped at the wall. So then it was almost like a big oval with a little bit of wall where there was no half wall. So it's essentially you would grab the half wall the entire way, And then
but then the railing would like stop. Like
the railing would stop once it got to the wall.
Gotcha.
And so at least some of the rink was flat where you really had to just skate.
Just you
And that's
clawing at a wall.
always, and that's always where I fell. I would just slide down the wall whenever I got to that part.
Yeah, I roller skated a little bit as a kid, but I was never a confident skater. My brother was like a roller blader, and that I never could. I was never confident enough to stand on those, and then I haven't tried in a long time, especially stuff like that. Ever since I got my really bad head injury, slipping is not a thing I'm fond of. So crack my skull once, shame on you. Floor, crack it twice, shame on me. Didn't really crack my skull, but
yeah.
Let's end the show.
Thanks so much for listening to the Josh Johnson Show. We had a great time recording. I hope you had a great time listening. If you are looking to
not
catch,
have a great time recording.
No, this was fun.
You
didn't have fun?
I'm kidding.
Oh, okay.
Talking about us being hot.
Oh, yeah. Some of that's gonna go. It has to. What's gonna be really funny is us kind of talking about like pretty much trashing ourselves for going on and on about it.
Yeah.
But then we have enough time recorded that you're gonna cut some of it. So then someone's gonna be like, "What are they talking about?"
I might leave all of it. Who knows? They like when we're real.
They won't like this level of real. There's literally just a thing of you choking. That's too real.
I know, but that's such a great escalation of where we were at. You know what I mean? So it's hard to wrap up the outro.
You should just keep the choking and cut everything related to heat would be very funny. Because there's just me. I didn't look concerned enough on camera. So can you choke again so I could feign a little bit of like, oh no, my friend. Oh no, what is happening to him in his esophagus?
You very quietly said, "Do you need me to pat your back?"
Yeah, because I didn't know if you were laughing or if because my head was down when you took the sip.
Right.
I didn't even know you had water in your mouth. Oh. And so I just see you like hunched over like, oh. So then I'm like, do you need me to pat your back? But then you were like, no.
That was good.
So then how do I help you? Do you want the Heimlich from the water?
Because I wasn't choking. I was just, I forgot how to swallow liquids for a second. Yeah. That's all.
And then there's
I remembered.
But I should still have looked more concerned because I really kept the same face the entire time.
And I'm not cutting it because you didn't look concerned. If anything, I'm going to punch in only on your face to show how much my friend didn't care.
It's not that I didn't care. I was just confused. Imagine if you were in an office building right now.
Finish the fucking show.
No, just hear me out. Imagine if you were in an office building right now and I fell off of the roof, but then you just see me whiz by like, yeah. And like, you'd be confused.
Is that a bird?
No, that was me as I screamed past the window.
That's me in the office.
Oh, yeah. Is that a bird?
Yeah.
And then it's me. And so you look confused. But if we punch it on your face, you're like, he didn't even care that Josh fell off a whole building. That's all I'm saying. If you were looking to catch up with us on any of the socials, you can find me at Josh Johnson Comedy on Instagram, Josh J Comedy on Facebook, at Josh Johnson on Twitter, and Josh Johnson Comedy on TikTok and YouTube. We're going to be posting clips of the show. And if you're looking for Logan,
you can follow me on Instagram at Logan M. Nielsen. And if you want to get into the mailbag like all those wonderful people there, that's joshjohnsonshow at gmail.com. Send us compliments, questions, whatever you want. We love getting them. You can also join our Patreon, patreon.com/Josh Johnson Show. We have bonus podcasts. We have bonus videos. We have access to past live shows at a certain level. And then this will be coming out the day after our Brooklyn live show. So I'm just going to say, if you were there, thanks. Mm-hmm. Thanks for coming out. We hope it was good. I'm going to go ahead and assume it was.
Okay.
Wasn't it great? I love making memories with all of you. Not gonna compliment our fan base for being there and supporting us.
Well, you're saying you hope it's going to be great. I just know it's going to be great, so I didn't say anything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, better leave that level of hype in your pocket. Yeah, don't I?
I mean, I just know it'll be good, so I don't need to. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like if I made you a pie and I was like, "Hope you enjoy it. It's not poison."
Right.
You'd be like, why would you even say?
But I just don't want to. I don't want to be preemptively cocky about a thing from the past. You know what I mean?
No, but be cocky, because then the thing from the past will be a good present,
Okay.
and then in the future you'll be like, I'm glad I.
All right, fine. Let me take a retake of that. For everyone, our live show would have been last night. If you were there, you're fucking welcome. You're welcome for what we did for you. Wasn't it amazing? God, we should have charged more. There, is that better? Is that more what you were looking for?
A little bit.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
You gonna go stand in front of the fridge?
No, I think I'm just gonna have to lay outside.
That's not gonna be better.
Yeah, finish.